going to give you a quick demo of our CTN Network website, ctnnetwork.net. Join our community. It is free. You just type in ctnnetwork.net, and this is the homepage right here. And if you want to create an account, you would just click up here and create new account right here. Sign up with your email, or you can sign up with just clicking on Facebook or Google. So you can sign up with your Facebook account or your Gmail. So I'm already signed up, so I'm going to click in Gmail right here, and it's going to log me in. And as you can see, this is our homepage. Click on creators right here, and this shows you all the CTN family members that are content creators. Everybody is on here. If you want to go to one of their YouTube channels, for example, if you want to go to Crypto Talk Now, just click on channel, and it takes you right over to the YouTube channel for that particular creator. And you click on community. This is our community right here. We do have a forum, and this is a forum where you can post things, you can interact with one another. And there's also a blog right over here that we post our own content on. And if you click on CTN Studios, you can watch our live show and other content creators' live shows right through this CTN Studios. We do have advertisements for some of the content creators. There's the Crypto Smith, there's Waddy, the Crypto Hunter, and we also have live charts for the ISOs right in this box right here. We have a feature where you click on the heart if you want to donate to us. You can donate with Ethereum or Binance, BNB. And also, if you click on this button right here, we're going to have a call-in feature, which is already live. If you want to call us, just click on the green icon, the green phone icon, and click on call now. And during the show, between 9:15 and 10, when we announce it, when Max is on or when I'm on with Max, we will start accepting phone calls, and you guys can be live with the show. If you want to turn your video on, you can come on camera as well. So good stuff there. Now back onto the homepage. If you click on members, you can see all the people that are members here. All these people here, like Chaka just signed up, Gills33, Miguel. All these people here are members of our community. So you guys can sign up, and then you can chat with one another. So you can either click over here, message right here. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm just going to welcome him. I'll send him a quick message, and then I can click enter or just a little arrow. If you want to message somebody else, you can click on message, or you can go right over here into members chat and go ahead and message them and create a new chat if you want by clicking this little button right here. Now also, if you scroll down here, you can see some of the past videos that our content creators in our content creator family have created. You can go in here and watch some of the recorded videos. They're scrolling down here. Just choose one to watch. And that's it, guys. Thank you for watching this brief demo. Make sure you sign up so you can interact and be part of the community when we are not on the live show.
Hello, everybody. Glad to be here. Don't know why I'm so zoomed in again for some reason, but that's okay, I guess. Let me see why it's doing that again. That's so strange. All right, give me just a second. And all I did basically is reset my internet, so everything would be a lot better for today. But that's just weird. I don't know why it does that. Let me see. Very strange. Solo layout. No, that's not it. Well, we'll get through it once again. Zoomed in on my face. Like, I don't know why it does that every now and then. But nonetheless, thank you so much for everybody who's here tonight. If anything, maybe I'll just take off the bottom banner briefly. Give me just a second. There we go. super zoomed in, but like I'm on soap opera or something. It's just weird. I don't know why it does that. All right. I want to welcome you guys. It's going to be a great show. I just got back, believe it or not. There was a show before this, not here at CTN, but thank you to everybody who showed up to the Space Cabin with obviously Space Chick and Mike the Investor. To all you guys who are still enjoying your food, your beverages, we had a potluck. We also have some subs. Thank you for everybody that is watching from the lecture hall. Really do appreciate you guys. I understand most of you guys probably left by now because of the time. But if there's anybody still watching or connected from that who's watching us here, really appreciate you. And yeah, thank you for the chicken adobo from, who is it, Mrs. Martinez. Thank you very much. All right, let's jump further down into the comments. I think we have a super chat that came in, so I want to get into that. And I just want to state, if anybody made some comments before the show started, usually speaking, like, if we have original start date at a time of 9 p.m. Eastern, and then, the show gets a little bit delayed to 15 minutes past, it's nothing personal. I'm not trying to not recognize you and so on. Just keep in mind, if I don't see if you don't comment later on, I'm not going to know you're here. So, just try to realize that. So, anyway, let's go ahead and get into some of the comments. I saw Super's chat come in, so thank you for that. And it came from Henry Brown. Thank you. It says, if I date a girl named Jasmine, would her crypto name be Jasmy? I don't know. Today's legislation is happening everywhere but the U.S. Shaking my head. Thank you again for the $5 super chat. Actually, I never knew a girl named Jasmine. Oh, you know what? I'm going to say sophomore year of high school there was. Yeah, that is true. That was the one and only one I knew. But anyway, this topic you have about how the legislation is happening everywhere but the U.S., that's part of our outline, believe it or not, tonight. So I'm glad that you actually brought that up. So let me see if anything else came in, and we're definitely going to welcome you guys. So let's go ahead and start off with the first comment of the day. It's from Mr. Elon Muff. Thank you for being here. Michael Cornwell. And on top of that, let me just adjust the settings. Apparently, I'm going to have to buy a new keyboard. That's just great. That's crazy, man. It's just all of a sudden start happening. All right. But yeah, welcome Elon Muff. Brittany, welcome. Henry Brown, again, thank you again. Just kind of rapid firely going through some of these comments. Salmander, I want to thank you for being here. Ahmed, Brian Dowie, welcome back. Glad to have you here as well. Muff says he tagged me in regards to DEF CON warning. We can pull that up here in a bit. And just going to welcome a few more people. So as I'm pulling that up, let's see what we got going on in regards to that. Geez, that's crazy. Man. All right. Yeah, we'll have to get into that as well. Coochie Boy, welcome. Thank you for being here. BG Crypto Dev, he says, what's up, everybody? Thank you for being here. Sobo says, hey, everyone. Thank you so much, Sobo and Brittany. And I think it was Tim Shea I also saw. I saw, for instance, Eddie T. I saw GS, a few guys that went over to the other stream that was earlier today on Space Chicks platform. Really appreciated that. Thank you very much. And again, thank you to everybody from GCC, from the lecture hall who showed up. Even if you didn't comment and so on, I know you guys are having problems with your phones, not having an account. I know most of you guys use TikTok and not, YouTube, but, thank you for showing up. That was really nice of you. Especially if there's anybody still here from there. Most of those people probably left, but it's okay. All right. But yeah, Tim Shea, thank you. The Mayor of Crypto, the Crypto Commissioner, welcome and thank you for being here. Welcome back to the Disabled Machine. Ahmed, you as well. Maddie B, glad to have you. Rob Lee, welcome back. April Cornwell, thank you for being here. She says, hey, y'all, with the flowers. Smash that like button, everybody. It's free. Yep, good point. Thank you for that. Let me see what else we got up in here. And Michael Montclair, welcome back. Glad to have you. Mr. Big Watch Dudes in the house. Cool Cat Cryptos enter through the cat door. Jay Cryptic, he says, hello, all. Hello, token. MK token. We have covered hello. So welcome from the hello community. Glad to have you here. Consider changing your avatar to something that speaks more about who you are and what you're about. You do the hello token. Let's give him a warm welcome to Jay Cryptic. Yamaha, welcome back. He says, what do you think of this SUI token? I don't know about that particular token, but let us know what you think about it. What impresses you the most? Somo Fudd, glad to have you here, Somo. And a girl named Jasmine, like Jasmine Bleeth from what's it called? Baywatch. What am I talking about? All right. Rob Lee says, question, how will XRP XLM work with Quant exactly? I'm feeling kind of perplexed. Help a brother. So basically speaking, I mean, you got to keep in mind, it's a lot more than just the whole concept of, payments. I mean, people are going to say, well, they don't need, some people say they don't need Quant and so on. The way I look at it is the ISO TC 307 standard is a lot different, obviously, when it comes to ISO 222. Now, as far as how they work with Quant, you got to keep in mind, I mean, if we're talking about the central banks of the world, I definitely think that Quant already has those connections. We have an outline in regards to some of this, so stay tuned in regards to that. And you can draw your own conclusion. That is part of tonight's outline. So we'll bring that up as well. We have a little bit of BSV. Some things happen in regards to that. So I'm glad to get into that. I meant to cover that the other day. Skylar H, she says, sup, my back hurts from carrying this bag of Jasmine around. Well, let us know. Did you find out about our channel through the recorded? And if so, thank you for, jumping ship to join us on the live show. And I want to welcome Mr. Stump Rider as well. And I think we're close to getting into it. I also want to welcome Crypto Smooth. It's a nice looking avatar. Kev Cleveland, welcome back, Kev. Glad to see you, man. And Nelly there. Max, how's everybody doing pretty well. Hyro, name of one of my students. He's the only one I ever knew with that name, but there's another guy with that name, obviously. Welcome back, though. He says he's hoping that Jasmine will be your sugar mama. Interesting. KK, welcome back. He says Brazil using XLM on CBDC just announced today. That's big because we've been covering that whole thing about XLM and Stellar in regards to Brazil and so on, right? So that's big if they're just actually using the utility. We'll have to see what happens with that. SUI launched today on several exchanges, Max. Okay. Maybe we could pull that up as well. Give me a second to pull it up on CMC. SUI, and yeah, I'll pull that up in a second. All right, so there's a few different SUIs. So you guys are going to have to let me know which specific one it is. And Yasmin, a Pakistani name women. Interesting. All right. Mr. Boomer Effin Sooner. Welcome back. He says, sup, Mighty Max. Sup, everyone. Boomer will be in and out throughout the stream, so fist for everyone. All right, no problem. Understand. And then let's see where we're at also on this. Michael Montclair says he's got 40K getting to 50K of Jasmy slowly. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. You reach your goals. I think you said yesterday, I believe, in regards to XLM, which 10,000. So, I mean, we all have different ones we're looking to stack at different times, but the point of entry is what counts, right? So if you're recognizing what's on sale and you're going about it that way, I think that's honestly the best way to go about it. All right. Let's go further down in the comments. Please smash that like if you haven't done so already. And let's see here. Tim Shea says he saw that about XLM Brazil, very bullish. That's pretty awesome. Let's see if I can pull that up as well on the other screen. Let's see. Just a second. All right. All right. And as that's loading up, Let me see if they got something about Brazil specifically. Maybe I could just pull one up in regards to the whole thing about Brazil. So, not pulling it up yet, but I will get it. I will definitely get it. Maybe a little bit later. All right. So I'm towards the bottom. Thank you again to everybody's here. Let's go ahead and kick it into our coverage. Smash that like if you haven't done so already. And let's jump into this. So to start things off, I want to get into the subject of, hold on a second, in regards to just a little bit of Jasmine start off, because you know what? There's some big things happening in regards to just that when it comes to Jasmine. I'm just going to double check a couple settings that I have. And yeah, let's see if we can pull that up. All right, here it is. And I want to jump into this just for a brief moment. Gosh, I had this on the other screen, and for whatever reason, it's not popping up. Because I guess because I reset my internet, trying to make myself clear. But I think I got it right here. You know what? I do. Give me just a moment. Man, I retweeted so much stuff today, like a lot of information. Where is this? Okay. I think I know where this is at. All right. Yep, I got it. All right. Let me just go ahead and play this from the beginning. I'll share this in the way you guys hear it in a second. So here we go. All right. All right. So on this particular subject, we're going to get into what we have for Jasmine and how it relates to Jasmine. So this gentleman that you see right here, all right, you probably saw this on today's Jasmine video, but I just want to talk about this for a brief moment. The reason why I want to draw this to your attention is because this thing is literally happening this month, all right, in May of 2023. This company is organization is called CSIS, all right, and like it says, operationalizing data free flow with trust. It's called DFFT. Now you may be wondering about this. So back in 2019, the former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, as you know, he unfortunately was sad thing, he was assassinated. I don't know if you guys remember about that. There was like an anarchist, or I don't know what type of person the guy was, but he assassinated him. It made like world news, right? But anyway, back in 2019, Shinzo Abe proposed the concept of, listen to this, guys, data free flow with trust, DFFT, at the World Economic Forum, winning G20 leaders' support for the idea at the Osaka summit later that year. As G7 hosts in 2023, which literally this is coming up here soon, Japan is now hoping to operationalize the concept of DFFT. The March 14th event will feature experts who explore the feasibility of this goal. I mean, that already happened, but there's this thing that this guy's going to mention that's coming up in May. So we're going to jump into that. And I'm only going to play roughly like a couple minutes of this, but listen to what he has to mention here. Here we go.
My name is Matthew Goodman. Welcome to this CSIS event on operationalizing data free flow with trust. We're delighted that you could join us here today. We have a terrific group of experts to talk about this important topic, which I will introduce in just a second. I do want to start by thanking the Japan External Trade Organization for their support for this event. Without the support of our sponsors, we couldn't do anything, so we're very grateful to JETRO for that. So I think, as everyone knows, data is driving the global economy. We're creating data right now, and yet there are no really internationally agreed rules on data. Unlike other areas of economic activity like trade, we don't have data governance rules that are widely accepted in the world. There are bits and pieces of rules, but not an international system. And that is very much something that that is under development and their discussion in various forums. Former Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe introduced the concept of data free flow with trust, or DFFT, at the World Economic Forum in January 2019. And that concept to try to fix this sort of gap in data governance globally. And that proposal ultimately received endorsement by G20 leaders at the Osaka summit later in 2019. But there are still a lot of questions or gaps in what DFFT actually means and how it's going to actually be operationalized. And that's a challenge that Japan has taken on again in its host of the Group of Seven, the G7 grouping this year in 2023. They're trying to move this concept of DFFT from concept to actually implementation. And there will be some discussions of this topic for sure, because we had a preview of this at CSIS earlier this year from both Digital Minister Kono and METI Minister Nishimura, who mentioned that this is going to be and I think actually Prime Minister Kishida also mentioned it in his speech here in Washington in January. There's going to be a G7 Digital and Technology Ministers meeting next month in Gunma in Japan. And then the G7 leaders meeting itself will be held in Hiroshima in May. And it is likely that DFFT is going to feature in both of those summits. So today's event is designed to explore this topic of DFFT and how it might be implemented, how it might be put into practice. Before I introduce our panelists to this.
All right, so the reason why I'm bringing this to your guys' attention is one main reason. This is literally going to happen here soon, later on this month, and of course I'll try to review it, chop it up, bring you some of the key highlights. But on today's Jasmy video that's in the recorded, I showed you guys just a brief glimpse of this particular interview, and the reason why it's so important is because you got the whole topic of regulatory framework and how do we get to that clarity and so on. These are some big players that are recognizing some of these particular things where it comes to DFFT. There is no data governance is the bottom line. And if you have data governance, what is the next step towards the path forward towards that clarity that we're talking about and so on. So here in the United States, we don't really we're not even to this point yet at all. But in Japan, you are. So when I state things like, does, like Jasmy, for instance, get us to the promised land first? It could very well be. This is a next big step forward for Japan, but not only just Japan, for the entire world when it comes to this whole topic of that regulatory clarity. So this is a big event that's happening. We'll have to, again, get some particular highlights and clips, but I thought I'd show that in regards to our particular outline. I know there's a few minutes. I'm going to kick it back to the comments just for a brief moment, and then we're going to kick it back into this topic that we have for tonight in regards to a couple things in regards to Jasmy. And shout out to another content creator. His name is Brian. He does Jasmy Twitter Spaces with another guy that I share his content, and his name is Zippy. But we'll get into that here in a bit. A little bit more that's on our lineup. Obviously, some quant. We have some BSV for you guys, and then after that, instead of just doing news segments on everything, we're gonna show you guys some of the community news. I'm gonna share some of the things that Tim Shea shared. Obviously, Crypto Mike, right, in regards to this tweet that he sent out. But yeah, let's get into some of this. And I want to welcome Mr. He says, "What's up, Max? Thank you for being here, Waddy. Appreciate you, man. Hopefully all is well in New York." And let's see, Disable Machine, welcome back. He says, "Yo" to Coochie Boy. Uncle Thursday, he says, "I appreciate you, Max, for not putting clickbait in your titles." Yeah, I try not to. I mean, here's the thing, right? So sometimes I can be kind of guilty of this, but I try to have something to back it up. And what I want to show you guys just real quick, because I mean, some person could say, hey Max, these without sin cast the first stone, right? Well, here's the thing. All right, let me show you this one. So where it says Jasmy, 2635X, 1787 per coin. So I didn't just come up with that out of thin air. I did have something to actually back that up based off of some actual figures, from KPI from the Jasmy team, how I pulled up that number. But I mean, I didn't just say, oh yeah, Jasmy at $50 per coin and 10,000x or something like that. Like, if you watch the video, you see where I come up with that. So I don't do that all the time, but I have gotten criticism about that. But at least I try to back it up, right? With like, okay, well, I'm not just pulling this out of thin air. This literally comes from the team. This is their path forward. These are some of the the goals they're trying to reach and so on. And of course, a video like that is going to do well. I mean, it's still doing well. It's that's like, are you kidding? 7,300 views. We probably got like, I don't know, 150, 175 new subs. That's not the point. The point was that I give you a whole outline to back that up with research and deep dive and all that type of stuff. But I hear you. I mean, it does get old sometimes to see a lot of content creators do that type of thing. But I appreciate you, Mr. Uncle Thursday. Welcome back. Wally says, what's up to everyone? Glad to have you here. See if you guys have any specific questions or comments. I want to welcome back Mr. XXI Gaming. Thanks for being over at the Space Chick Space Cabin, as the saying goes. Michael Montclair says, I sent a link to Max. It shows Wells Fargo future plan to use XLM by 2025. 2 more years to go, guys. All right, let me go to Twitter and see if I can pull that up. And let's see where we're at. Did you send it on a DM or did you let me pull that up just a second. Maybe it's not a DM, maybe it's a tag. All right, let's see what's going on with that. Hold on. You guys give me some clarification on whether it was a DM. I'm getting a lot of I'm getting a lot of messages lately, which is cool. Or I don't know, did you send it on CTN network? Let me double check that. Maybe send it on CTN network. .net. Let's see what's going on with that. We gotta refresh it. No, that was not from you. That was a DM from Sobo. I'll have to check that one out later. So just let me know. If it was from a way back, I can try to dig into it, but I'll look more into it. Wadi states, what's up, everyone? Too many names to type. Again, thank you. Check out Wadi the Crypto Hunter over at his channel. Just like it sounds, Wadi the Crypto Hunter. Appreciate you being here, though, Wadi. Hit the like button. Yes, thank you very, very much. And let's see here. What do we have here? Something about green hair. Tim Shea says, I DM'd you the article. All right. Well, we can definitely get into that. Hold on a second. Yeah, we can get into that here in a bit. Let me check out the super chat from Salamander. Thank you for this $2 super sticker, Mr. Salamander. Wadi says, okay, I'm out. Bye-bye. That's fine. All right. Michael Montclair, that's what I was thinking. Still hold Jasmy. I'm happy now. Dave D says, great show today on Space Chick Crypto. Yeah, we had a great turnout. I mean, earlier we had we call it like a little potluck at the school. And then, people, we call it like had, I don't know if you guys had Filipino food before. It's like chicken adobo. There was some pancit. There's some subs. So, it was like, all right, it's kind of like, giving over your data for free. What's the price for this? You got to tune in. You got to watch this darn show. I just wish that more of those, I hate to say kids, right? I call them kids. They're students. Would have, instead of using TikTok, they could have had like a YouTube app or something installed. I just don't get it. Like, how do you not have a YouTube app installed? before they could comment, but at least they watched. I think someone hit the like. I saw a few comments, which I'm glad for that and so on. But you got to keep in mind, I mean, Mike the Investor's there, right? He's got like close to, what's he got, 77,000 subs. So I mean, he has a big presence. He has a big community. Naturally should be a big show, and it was. I think I don't know. I think at one point we saw like 165, 169 people. It was really cool, and that really helps Space Chick out. It helps us all out. So it was a good show. Just glad to tell people about Jasmy, a little bit of Quant, I think a tad bit of H-bar. I don't know what else we talked about. Maybe we talked a little bit about No, we didn't talk about XTC. So yeah, those are the main ones. Thank you for that, Mr. Dave D. And let me see where we're at as far as the comments. Thank you again to Salamander for this super sticker. All right. Fly Me to the Moon. XRP says Sinatra. Yeah, that's a good point. All right. And thank you, Daniel Gayton, if you're here. Thank you for being here. All right. Brian Dowie says, KK, I think Australia gets the first stable coin, XLM. All right. So earlier, we, of course, I got some DMs and so on, and we'll get into some of this stuff. I just don't want to I don't want to jump around too much, but I definitely will get into what you're trying to share, Brian. But before I get into the whole thing with Jasmy, I want to bring this up in regards to what Michael Cornwell was sharing in regards to that announcement, right? I mean, you call it doom and gloom, you call it whatever you want, right? I mean, sometimes we report good and we report bad, right? A little bit of everything, let's face it. So let me just jump into that real quick. And I'm just going to see if I can pull that up for just a moment. Yep, here it is. This is from Michael Cornwell. And let's share this. He says, air raid sirens going off across northeastern Ukraine. Jeez. Let's blow this up a little bit. This guy says someone has their fingers over the button. It says DEFCON warning system. We are currently evaluating rumors of nuclear movement in Russia. Please remember that these are rumors only with no verification at the moment. All right, so we'll have to see what happens with this. I mean, that's crazy, crazy stuff. What's this say? It says required to sprint at top speed. Okay, that's insane. But we'll have to find out what's going on with this because, I mean, that's crazy stuff. I mean, they've been talking about some of this stuff for a while, but it comes from DEFCON warning system. 300, almost 300,000 followers. As we know, it says DWS is a private intelligence organization that has been analyzing the threat of nuclear war since 1984 and offers an alert code to the public. So to get them to actually tweet something like this, yikes, right? Yikes. All right. So we're going to kick it back to what we have in regards to our outline tonight in regards to Jasmy. Please smash that like if you haven't done so already. Let's go ahead and kick it into what we have. So I'll put this banner back on, and there it is. And let's see here. I'm going to share this from Brian. Not Brian Dowie. This is from Brian at WC 3068. This is pretty good stuff, right? So let me pull up this other banner real quick on the bottom. All right, let's jump into this. So, I'm going to blow this up just a tad bit more. All right, that's nice and big. So again, shout out to Brian. Really good content creator. He's been covering Jasmy probably like a year or more before I have. Again, you got to keep in mind, like some of these guys are like the pioneers of content creation for, Jasmy and so on. So it says, great as always, talking with everyone, and thanks for everyone who listened. Here is the recording of the Wednesday Jasmy Space hosted by Dip Metaverse. We're not going to necessarily play that, but what I want to share with you guys is this, right? This is some of the good stuff because, I mean, I pointed out that particular thumbnail. I have stated that, here's some info in regards to this deep dive. Jasmy, if we hit some of those goals, 1787. I mean, some of you guys are like, man, that's nuts. I get where you're coming from. That's a long-term outlook, right? Let's face it, that's a long-term outlook. Some people may have that attitude, like we may not get to that. I'm just saying, those are some of the particular goals from the Jasmy team. Do we actually get to that? Well, draw your own conclusion to if you feel like we get to there. But the consistent thing is, what about us getting to $1 when it comes to Jasmy, right? Well, how about this other particular one? He says he gave his opinion on how Jasmy will be valued, how its market cap can reach near 1 trillion by 2026. I mean, that's not that far away if you really, really think about it. And how the DD coin, which is a stable coin, right, plays a role in the token economy of Jasmy. Says at 46:50 minutes into the space, I hope this answered your question. Let me know if you need more clarification. And if anything, I might pull this up for a second. Since it's at 46:50. All right. Give me a second. And I guess we won't be able to show that one, but that's okay. I want to share this particular part right here. It states, I hope this answered the question. Yeah, we got into that. It says you can also see his older posts for more information, but I want to draw your attention to this right here, and look what's mentioned on this particular spreadsheet. It says coins, right? It says 15 billion market price, you know, in regards to this equation, 59.56. Number of users, 107 million. Value of data per capita, $500. You have mentioned them or seen them mention $500 on the KPI before. And on this particular equation, it comes out to like 1670, right? A market cap of, it was that like, God, that's a lot, right? I mean, that's way, way up there. So it says this formula is using what Jasmy set its 3 KPIs for 2026. Like I think before, on that last one, maybe it was 2026 or 2027, but roughly in that particular range. It says it's a 2021 roadmap. You know, you got to keep in mind that roadmap from 2022 is pretty vague, right? The 2023 roadmap, they've been killing it with that. But this roadmap also shows the marketplace as having a projected amount of only 15 billion left in circulating supply by phase 4. At an almost 900 billion market cap, it seems pretty insane. However, if we look at the market cap as being defined by the total value of data being held on the Jasmy platform and forward projections of 16.7, then it could make sense for this valuation to be analogous to assets under management, AUM, which is in a traditional sense, but in this regard could perhaps be referred to as data under management. I know, like he says, the acronym seems dumb. It says this implies, as it should, that Jasmy Incorporated isn't worth that amount as a business, but rather the combined total value of data from all its users and the forward projections of its PDR. As I touched on the previous picture, Jasmy coin is a digital representation for the value of data. So the bottom line is this. You've heard that Jasmy is going to come out with an updated version of the secure PC, right? And, you know, I did a deep dive in regards to just that. Why so much significance in regards to that? The reason for it basically is they gave you a whole outline in the previous year and so on, how they wanted to make an English version. The previous version only caters to Japan. Literally in the box art, you see Jasmy secure PC, you know, operating system and so on, to be installed on those particular computers, right? Those blockchain, computers. And with that said, it's like, all right, it says plain as day for, Japan use only or Japanese use only. Well, keep in mind, you're going to open up a huge market by having an English version. Take that into the equation of what you see here, some pretty big stuff, right? So we're going to jump a little bit more into what we have in regards to this outline. And I want to show you just a tad bit more of what we have. And basically speaking, it's, some of the stuff that you're about to see right here. And I'm just going to blow it up. Give me a second. I'm just going to probably put back to normal. All right. So there's a lot more to it than just what you see. And, there's some other bigger players here, to say the least, right? Which I'm going to show you this right here. And let's blow this one up as well. All right. Nice and good. So on this particular one, again, shout out to Brian. But it says on this is a thread, right? If anyone hasn't looked into what digital twin technology is, He even tags me, right? He even tags Sean, the Cryptosmith. He says, have some, we have done some great content on it. Jasmy is already involved in this tech with, for instance, WITS. Now, I'm not going to harp too much on WITS. We already established and did a big outline in regards to WITS. It's like they already have that connection being a, subsidiary of Toyota, right? And, dealing with what they bring to the table as far as Internet of Things. On top of that, just countless things. It's not just, for instance, the digital twin. You have, what's it called, War X, right, and so on. We're going to jump into this specifically because there's a little bit more that this guy reported a while back, and again, this is something I guess you could say some of the juicy stuff. So draw your attention to this. It says, anyone can easily create massive and beautiful digital twins. The digital twin and metaverse concepts are being used in a wide range of fields from industry to entertainment, but the larger the scale of these virtual worlds, the more massive and complex 3D data to be handled, which is a high hurdle for developers. The MapRay digital twin platform aims to enable anyone to construct massive and beautiful digital twins flexibly and easily, from which a variety of Kando, however way you pronounce it, experiences can be created. Here's some of the development managers that you see right here. Daisuke Matsumoto, who's the R&D Center, Sony Group Corporation. Again, I mean, that's another connection, right, to even Sony. So it's just like, wow, it's just like, you got subsidiaries, then you got direct connections, for instance, to like Sony. And then on top of that, look what's mentioned here as far as some of the main features. And I'm just going to double check this is big enough for you guys. It's not. I'll try to blow that up just a tad bit more because this is good stuff. All right. This is probably a lot bigger for you guys. Maybe too big. Yeah, that's way too big. All right. That's a lot better. A lot better. All right. So on this particular one, as you can see here, it says main features. Complex real data acquired in physical space can be easily handled in virtual 3D space. Digital twins consisting of massive 3D data can be reproduced on screen speedily and beautifully. JavaScript SDK for web apps and cloud APIs can be used to create digital twins as desired. Now, why even pay attention to this? You may be wondering. The reason why is it's going to provide a 3D model to recreate what, guys? What have we been learning for the past few weeks? We've been learning, especially with the help of even Sean the Cryptosmith that was around for this, that they're looking to create these smart cities. And if they're looking to create, smart cities, they do need to have like a 3D representation instead of just like a 2D layout of how this is all going to come together. As a result, enter digital twins. As you can see in the background, you got Mount Fuji. You got some of these particular buildings. It says digital twin of the cities, right? This, again, is a key strategic partnership, in regards to Jasmy, right? You have, WITS and so on. But I just want to show you guys how that looked. There's a little bit more that we have in regards to this. I'm just going to jump back for just a brief moment. And give me just a second. Here we go. So there was that. I'm going to show this other particular one. Let me blow this one up as well. All right. So on this one, and hold on, so let me just double check the settings. Okay, we're good. So on this particular one, it says the Sony Group internal and external collaboration. And I'm going to remove that banner because I think it's kind of blocking you guys'. Yeah, there we go. So on this particular one, in regards to the Sony Group, like it says, the Sony Group internal and external collaboration, Space Entertainment Promotion Office, Sony Group Corporation, AI Robotics Business Group, so Mobility Business Division, Sony Semiconductor Solutions. The whole key thing here is, for all the players who want to say there's no Sony connection, are you kidding me? Here it is. Boom. All right, so there's that. Examples of achievements deployed in the shooting simulator of the Star Sphere project to capture images of the Earth from a satellite. So you got to keep in mind, this digital twin thing, right? Provides this data for these, these 3D models or 3D maps of these, I guess you could say virtual cities, right? And that's going to help, just like, for instance, a flight, a person is trying to learn how to fly is going to use a simulator. It's a different type of concept, but it's a 3D model of these cities, even from the perspective of not just on the cities on the ground, but even from outer space, an outer space simulation. That's cool, impressive stuff, right? And it's basically with this technology called Star Sphere. So I want to show you guys that as well. It says Satellite Orbit Simulator. That's pretty darn impressive, right? On top of this, jump back to this for a second. They have this thing that says their future direction. Make sure this. Oh man, it didn't pop up the right way. There we go. All right. So I guess I'll just leave it on it. It says, in the future, we intend to evolve beautiful 3D model creation and real-time rendering technology along with increasingly accurate sensing technology to realize more realistic digital twin Earths on MapRay Cloud by associating 3D data to places and events in the real world. We'll be able to conduct a variety of analysis and simulations as desired in beautiful digital twin Earths. We aim to grow it into a platform that will be utilized not only by the Sony groups of businesses, I mean, my God, Sony Group, including Metaverse, Mobility, and Mima Mori, but also by various creators, including those outside the company. So, some pretty big stuff, right? At least I think so. So there's more of this particular outline, and we're going to get into this as well. But, before we do, I'm going to jump back into the comments just for a brief bit, because I do want to try to kind of keep up with our pace that we have tonight. All right, so let me just go ahead and stop the share on that, and I'm going to jump back into the comments. Thank you to everybody that's here tonight. And let's see where we're at. I already did on my way. I think I jammed the button. Sorry, Max. I think I already read some of the stuff. Sorry about that. All right. Let's go further down. And Tim Shea says, Brian, Brazil is working on it too, is bullish in regards to Stellar. That's awesome. Again, we'll get into some of that outline here in a bit too. Kid Rebo's pretty hyped on XLM himself. That's good. That's good. Tim Shea states, as part of the plan, let small and medium banks fail and save the large banks. The few will rule them all. Brian Dowie says XRP and XLM have to be a high stable price. They do, because there can't be volatility in the future when it comes, especially when it comes to institutional money. They won't even get into it if it was volatile. All right. Thank you again to Mr. Henry Brown. He says, the more Jasmine you have, the more it makes sense. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Let me double check the other screen. Making sure I didn't forget anything in that regard. Let me just pull that up real quick. Let me see where we're at. I don't want to forget anything. All right, we're doing all right. So thank you for those who smashed that like. Thank you again for the super chat, Mr. Henry Brown. Brian Dowie says more banks will fail for sure, and the big banks will take them over. All right, and then there's another super chat that came in from NFT Schiller. Oh my goodness, thanks so much, man. Appreciate you. Always do. He says, keep up the great work, team. Thank you. Yeah, we've been trying to continuously cover this stuff in regards to Jasmy, Quant, some of these other ones. I do definitely need to get like an XLM video. My rule of thumb in the past was I was trying to do at least one a week, and I haven't put out one for I think like 3 weeks, maybe almost a month. So I definitely have to do more on that. XDC, it's the same guy, those guys. I mean, it's almost so much time in a day. But thanks, man. You, Henry Brown, all you guys, even you guys that didn't drop super chats, thank you so much for being here tonight for some crypto talk now. All right. But glad to do it. Patrick Collier says, yo, Professor Maximus, what's up, fan? Glad to have you here. Thank you again, Patrick Collier, for all you do. Ahmed says, good night, everyone. It's 5 a.m. here. I have to get 3 hours sleep before it starts. Oh, my God, 3 hours sleep. Jeez. Yeah, I only got probably 4 last night. I got definitely catch up on some of that. Or how about this? Valerian, the movie, was doing this in the movie. It was a digital virtual city. Interesting. Cars and Crypto says, Sup, Max and gang. Thanks again for being back. Dan Armin, welcome back. Glad to have you. Always recognize your avatar. GF Burke says, Voot. Welcome back as well, Mr. GF Burke. Abdul Jawad, yes, welcome back. Let's go. Jasmine is the way to go. All right, so cool stuff. Have a great night, Mr. Ahmed. Let's kick it back to what we have in regards to our lineup tonight. And give me just a second. So I'm actually put this over this way. All right, so there's a little bit more in regards to this. So I'm going to jump into this right now. Let's see if this is going to play the right way. Yes, it is. All right, so believe it or not, you've heard a digital twin. I've even done a video on it, deep dive and so on. Here is actual footage from a couple of the devs from Digital Twin. Understand they have a strong Jasmy connection. Let's go ahead and play this. You're going to hear it in Japanese, but it's going to be interpreted into English. And the guy did a pretty good job. So here we go. Smash that like, especially if you love Jasmy. Here we go.
The technology we are introducing today, called MapRay, utilizes terrain, weather, city data, and other data from around the globe to beautifully reproduce digital twins that looks just like reality.
You're watching a virtual recreation of Tokyo using MapRay. We can virtually recreate cities and natural phenomena, such as the movements of the sun, all by combining a variety of open data. Concepts like digital twins and the metaverse are finding a wide range of applications, not only in industrial fields like automotive and urban development, but also in movies, games, and other forms of entertainment. This is because image sensors now create high-quality and highly accurate images, and sensors that convert physical movements and temperatures into data have also evolved, enabling us to capture the real world in high resolution. Combining such data with open data and AI allows us to create virtual 3D worlds that are more realistic and beautiful than ever before. On the other hand, the bigger the digital twins, metaverse spaces, and other virtual worlds that we create, the more data we produce. Also, these worlds involve complex data like geospatial coordinates, presenting greater challenges to developers.
To solve these issues and make creating digital twins more flexible and easier, we offer MapRay. MapRay incorporates two key technological feats: the ability to easily handle complex real-world data in virtual 3D spaces, and the ability to reproduce massive amounts of 3D data at high speeds and in high quality without discrepancy. Let's talk about that first one. Creating virtual 3D spaces requires the manipulation of massive amounts of diverse 3D data. Understanding and putting all of that together is a complex and unwieldy task. MapRay allows you to manage all that open data on the cloud and to combine it at will.
So it's nice to see a little demo in regards to those guys. You know, we seen them on paper, saw some images, saw some videos of the digital twins. If you're wondering, like, well, I didn't see that before. You did. In some of our videos in the past, basically it shows, you know, some of those arms on the robotics and so on. They're picking up things. They're, you know, doing like a little assembly line and so on. Some of those things come from what's referred to as digital twin. You also saw a guy using a Sony PlayStation controller, and he's controlling some of this stuff and whatnot. But it's actually really nice to see what they're doing in regards to some of these, you know, 3D maps and, you know, and so on, right? These are like templates, if you will, to get the job done for these smart cities. So it's like, it's one thing to have a concept, but there's another to see, like, these guys are really serious about really creating some of these things, right? So, you know, that Jasmy connection to, you know, data democratization and, you know, protecting these users' data. But on top of that, you know, how do they properly track data and what partnerships they have, and are they using autonomous vehicles? You name it. There's just so many big players. When we talk about Jasmine, the Internet of Things, right? So, wanted to bring you guys that. I'm gonna show you guys just a tad bit more in regards to our outline for this, and let's jump back to this outline from Mr. Brian. Here it is, and as you can see here, he mentions this part 2 of 5, right? So it says part of the Society 5.0 proposals involves being able to have doctors in other countries operate on you remotely. One day your medical network may have a global reach. Sony is working on that digital twin tech. Why even point out Sony? Well, again, because there's something solid there with that. They have Jasmine has former Sony execs, so they're always having those constant connections. That is very, very impressive, right? Especially if you hold Jasmine. So here's some of the main features in regards to this. And keep in mind, we cover the CARE project, right? And we understand that, that's another particular one that is a key partner as far as like medical and billing and you name it when it comes to Jasmine. This right here says creating realistic experiences in the virtual world surgical simulator. So the other example we gave you before was in regards to a smart city digital simulator. And I'll blow this up just a tad bit more. But I want to show you guys this, and hopefully it comes across okay. Looks like it is. So on this particular example, it's just like it says, creating realistic experiences in the virtual world surgical simulator, right? And it's like they're doing everything. When we talk about IoT, Internet of Things, Jasmine definitely has some of these big connections, right? So I'm gonna scroll further down here, and as you can see right here, it mentions a little bit more in regards to this physically photorealistic surgical simulator. Surgery is a physical task that requires difficult decision making, and touch and realistic environment are crucial for training. We developed a surgical simulator which faithfully reproduces changes in the form and feel of the organs and offers realistic experience in virtual space. Users can train their surgical skills while experiencing realistic touch by real-time physics engine, and realistic depiction of surgical scenes expresses, authentic visuals and surgical tasks. At the end of the day, does anybody really want to, be like a lab rat or a guinea pig? No, right? You would appreciate that there are these particular things. Call them Internet of Things, call it whatever you want to call it, but it's definitely an honorable mention to see, that, you have some of these strategic partnerships from that aspect as well. So when we talk about IoT, the Internet of Things, it covers so many different things, not just, like GPS tracking systems and things like that, right? Here's another, again, a perfect example. All right, I'm going to jump back to a little bit more of what we have in regards to this. Let me just pull this up. Here is this. Here's some of the main features. And like it shows right here, it says, let me just zoom out just a tad bit more. Sorry about that. All right. There we go. So it states, it is the world's finest, finest first surgical simulator technology. Think about that for a second, guys. Are we not paying attention to some of this stuff? I think we should. Because, if you have something unique, in my opinion, Jasmine is very unique in itself, right? Data democracy, the personal data lockers, you have, for instance, these secure PCs, blockchain PCs. If I was Dell Computers at this particular point, if I'm looking to innovate, you got to keep on top of some of this stuff. Is Jasmine, to a sense, like, the Dell Computers for Web3? Could very well be, right? Would Jasmine at some particular point, with their secure PCs and everything else they got going on with personal data lockers and some of these connections, are we going to eventually, think of them in like at the back of our head, just like some people think of Dell computers? Like, who doesn't know about Dell computers, whether you're a fan of Dell computers or not? Will Jasmy be a household name in the future? And if so, man, that's big. And you look at some of these prices for Jasmy, I mean, come on. One of the most impressive risk to reward ratios out there, right? So, these are some bold statements. It is the world's first surgical simulator technology, which offers not only visual image, but also realistic touch by real-time physics engine. Ray tracing. Do you know about ray tracing? Let me give you a perfect example of ray tracing. So I'm sure a lot of you guys have at one point, whether you're a fan of the movie or not, I know Michael Bay gets a lot of criticism, but the 2001 blockbuster movie Pearl Harbor. The reason why I want to mention Pearl Harbor is because in that movie, that was, as far as visual effects, was leaps and bounds ahead for its time. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning that movie is because in that film, they showed, of course, the attack on Pearl Harbor, and it shows roughly about 300 planes attack Pearl Harbor. Now, if you're a aeronautics enthusiast like myself, or World War II history buff, you will come to the conclusion like there's no way that they can take 300 real Japanese Mitsubishi Zeros and recreate those scenes. Right? Absolutely not. So how do you make something like that look realistic? You use photorealism, right? You use ray tracing. Now, if you're wondering what is ray tracing, basically it's like this. You take an image, all right, and then you, just like the saying goes, you trace around the image, digitally speaking, from all angles. Then you retrace it and retrace it and retrace it over and over and over. And you have literally, I know it sounds nuts, but you have thousands of these little images from multiple angles. And then when it's produced, digitally speaking, to the naked eye, it looks photorealistic. Now, you got to keep in mind, during this time, that technology, at the turn of the century, 2001, was only available to Hollywood big budget studios and so on. And, last I checked, I'm going to pull this up for just a brief moment. I believe Pearl Harbor, I believe that particular movie, that was a big budget movie. Let's just double check real quick. I don't have it on the share screen, but yeah, their budget was $140 million. This movie came out May 21st, 2001, right around Memorial Day weekend. I remember seeing this with my dad, my girlfriend at the time, my mom. And that movie, made at the box office $450.2 million. Why am I mentioning this? The reason why I'm mentioning this is because, again, at that time, that technology was only exclusive to what? To Hollywood, right? And that was ray tracing technology. That was all the way back then. Now, also come to the conclusion, especially if you're a gamer, that we have what is referred to as RTX graphics cards, right? And those RTX graphics cards produce what is referred to as ray tracing. So this is where some of these terms come from. We live in a time and day where this stuff is big, right? So to see something like this mentioned, where it's the world's first surgical simulator technology, which offers not only visual image, but also realistic touch by real-time physics engine, right? That's one. But ray tracing, 3D CG technology that tracks lights, right? And some of those other examples I gave you, and creates photorealistic visual. Again, picture it. You have organs, and you have all sorts of different angles of those organs to provide a realistic simulator. So when a person is using some of this stuff on, whatever tool or, computer they're using, or maybe it actually is a 3D headset for all we know, and they're trying to simulate from a full scale, like in a metaverse environment, hear me out, where you put on all this virtual equipment and you're trying to simulate literally being there, realistically speaking, right? This is big stuff. So again, the world's first one of this particular simulating technology, and this has a Jasmine connection. Are you kidding me? Like, that is huge, right? I'm not trying to hype it up too much. It speaks for itself, right? So it says we create simulation models that represents various surgical tasks. All right, how about the future direction for this? This says we will continue to pursue even greater accuracy in recreating tactile sensations and lifelike visuals By further incorporating Sony's robotics and imaging and sensing technologies, we aim to create simulations based on surgical data covering a variety of existing health conditions and cases. We hope this will increase the effectiveness of surgeon training and contribute to the overall improvement of surgical skills. We also hope to apply this technology more broadly, including training in professions requiring skill and experience comparable to those in healthcare, as well as industries with needs for digital twins. I mean, this is a massive, massive thing in regards to this, as I would say, the Jasmy connection. So, when we mentioned the whole thing, Internet of Things, there is just that, guys. There is so many particular things that it's just unbelievable, and we're going to get into this next part here in a bit. We're going to kick it back into the comments, but this is quite the outline that we have tonight in regards to Jasmy. All right, so smash that like if you haven't done so already. Let's kick it back into the comments. Appreciate everybody who's here tonight. If you happen to be somebody at the lecture hall who's stuck around, I know you watched 2 shows, but I can't thank you enough. Hopefully you're enjoying some of the Ponset. Save some lumpia for me tomorrow if I show up. I'll be glad to have some of those leftovers. Are good. All right. I want to welcome Mr. W. Irv. Hopefully you're Mr. Let me check your avatar real quick. It looks like a Lambo in the background. Pretty cool looking. All right. So he states, great double D earlier today on Jasmine, bro. All right. Well, we all love some double D, right? Thank you very much. And, welcome W. Irv. Kevin Dolly states, excuse me, I need to, kind of take something to drink here in a second. He says, do you have experience with Lobster Swap? Unfortunately, I don't. I've heard, but I want to state this. I do know about Lobster Swap, and I do think it is impressive. I need to obviously probably, do a test run or just watch, like a tutorial or a video on it and so on. But it gets mentioned every so often. And the people who have used it have mentioned that, they love it and so on. Let's read a little bit more of your comment. So do you have experience with Lobster Swap? No, I don't. From Excellent to HBAR, Jasmine, or Casper? Unfortunately, I don't. You state you may have swapped to alternate versions, different numbers. When I try to swap back, it has no value. Ooh. Well, I don't know about that. I mean, I've heard good things about Lobster Swap, but that sounds scary. If anybody's here that's more familiar with Lobster Swap, maybe, share your own 2 cents. But Kevin Dolly, thanks for being here. Thanks for showing up. And I hope to God, something bad didn't happen. Don't ever want to see anybody get wrecked on anything. All right. So let's see here. Let's go further down. That's horrible. I'd rather read the translation. Okay. All right, let's go further down. Frank Mo says, is Jasmy coin being used in Japan? Absolutely. It is being used in Japan. Thanks for stopping by. And then River, if I miss you. Oh, there you are. He says, gentlemen, right back at you. Thank you for being here tonight. All right. Passionate Rick, welcome. He says, thank you, Crypto Talk Now, especially Max, hardest working man in crypto deep dive. Thanks, man. You just made my day, believe it or not. It's been a really busy, long day. I'm obviously dealing with stuff with my dad. He just went from the hospital to the rehab center. So it's been an emotional time, but I really do appreciate it. And, taking some of these deep dives, kind of helps me not focus on like some of the negative things of real life. Let's just be honest, and I'm glad to do it. So thank you. You absolutely just made my day. Comments like this make it all worthwhile. So guys, welcome Passionate Rick. If you haven't done so, obviously you're a fan of Rick and Morty. And let's go further down into some of the comments. All right, we got Henry Brown. He says South Carolina bill would ban use of CBDC as money in the state. And Florida legislator approves DeSantis-backed ban on central bank digital currency. Yes, I want to give a shout out to this lady. Her name is Randy. Some of you guys follow her. She's featured on 3T Warriors Academy sometimes. She's better known as My Team Crypto. She covered that earlier on her live show in regards to Florida banning CBDC. So, South Carolina. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, that's it's towards the south. That's definitely going to do it. All right, Sammy from Alabama, welcome back. He says, "My Jasmy and Polygon is the future hodl." Yep, I hold both of those. I'm looking to get a second position or a second bag of Polygon because I did overpay originally in regards to Polygon. I still think that ZK EVM, I mean, we understand there was a recent hack when it came to Polygon, but long term, I still think they're going to be fine. Some people were complaining that, hey, Max, ZK EVM launched. You had a bunch of devs come over. We did see 300% increase in volume, but the price didn't reflect that. Keep in mind, some of the recent thing with the hack, that could have had something to do with it. I don't know. But I do feel as though that with this whole thing of ZK EVM, especially going towards a bull market and so on, the main concept is what? Having devs from other platforms, whether it's, Solana, whether it's heck, even Ethereum, you name it, jump and ship, if you will, because they realize that, Polygon is just a lot better platform to build on, and especially to not have so many lines of code, kind of like how Quant is. They mentioned 3 lines of code. Well, this thing with ZK EVM makes it that much more attractive for devs to come over and build on Polygon. That's a good thing because you want to build, like for instance, an ecosystem. You want more projects to come on over. All right, but yeah, good to see you again, Sammy from Alabama. And I like this statement from Salamander. He says, "Is Ripple like Chevron, XRP like oil?" That's a good one. All right. Kevin Dolly says, "XLM and XRP are fine." I think they're going to be more than fine. Giving dabs to Kevin. And Carson Crypto says, "Max, looking to spell token when you have a chance." Let me know why you feel as though we should look into that. And then, maybe we can. All right, so what I'm going to jump into is the next particular thing that we have on our outline. I know it's a lot in regards to Jasmy, but I just want to show you guys just a tad bit more in regards to this. I'm not going to show you the ones in which, like everything here, right? Because, we don't want to just make this show just Jasmy only. And by the way, Crypto Smith, he did give me a heads up yesterday. He wasn't going to be able to be here tonight for Utility Talk Now. So we do miss him. So it's technically not Utility Talk Now tonight. It's just like a regular show that we have. But yeah, we're going to jump into a little bit more in regards to this. So I want to show you guys this. And again, this is the next part of our outline tonight in regards to Jasmy. It states, Deloitte, if I'm pronouncing that right, has a very good breakdown on digital twin tech as well as from 2017. The use cases for this type of technology span so many different industries is, it can make you dizzy, right? So I'm just going to show you guys this. I'm not going to take you right to the Deloitte site. But yeah, let's show you guys just a little bit in regards to this. And here we go. So this comes from Deloitte University Press. And as you can see right here, it mentions, shoot, I didn't mean to press that. I pressed F12, I'm going to hit F11. It mentions a Deloitte series on Industry 4.0, digital manufacturing enterprises, and digital supply networks. And again, you guys seen some of this in motion, right? You've seen it on the video. It says Industry 4.0 in the digital twin. Manufacturing meets its match. I'll show you a little bit more in regards to some of these pictures we have, because, I mean, it is good stuff. Here's another particular example. Let's pull that up. Try to load this up. Hold on. Yep, there it is. All right, so I think that's going to be big enough. Yeah, it should be. On this particular one, I'll come out of the frame for a brief bit, just to blow it up bigger. So on this, as you can see, it says physical digital side. Figure 1, manufacturing process, digital twin model. You can see how this works, right? How it communicates, some of the aggregate, how it analyzes data. Just as an example, right? But it comes from, Deloitte University Press. You can look into it more for yourself. Go to dopress.deloitte.com. And this bottom part, blow this part up a little bit more. It says the digital twin and the physical loop. Wow, that sounds like almost like a nursery rhyme. So the digital twin configuration of figure 1 represents a journey from the physical world to the digital world and back to the physical world. The physical journey or loop, my God, comprises the cornerstone of Deloitte's approach to Industry 4.0, sometimes called the fourth industrial revolution. How many times have we referenced that? Industry 4.0 broadly describes a digital manufacturing environment that combines advanced manufacturing techniques with the Internet of Things to create not only an interconnected manufacturing enterprise, but one that communicates, analyzes, and uses information to drive further intelligent action back in the physical world. Of course, there's more information in regards to that, but I become more and more impressed when I see some of this, and I appreciate this guy, Brian, because I mean, he's been deep diving this stuff long before, I ever entered into the whole deep dives. Not necessarily just with Jasmine, I mean, you could count Quant, you could name it, all this stuff, right? It means you appreciate the people that came before you, at least I do. All right, this next one I want to show you guys is a little bit more in regards to this. And let's just blow this up a little bit. And I'll come back on the frame on this particular one. So as we can see right here, a little bit more in regards to this. So it's a figure 2 digital twin conceptual architecture. You may be thinking, well, why put so much emphasis on digital twin? Why not? I mean, you saw what they had going on with medical. I mean, that's amazing. Ray tracing. You saw, for instance, the smart cities, right? 3D layout, even from outer space, for crying out loud. So they have this whole thing about a physical process, gives you a little bit more example of, their access devices. How about this? The standards and security for data and connectivity. You have, for instance, social, weather, temperatures, all sorts of different examples, sensors, right, of temperature flow. You got to keep in mind, this is all part of what, guys? The Internet of Things, right? That's what really impresses me. And, Jasmine definitely stands out when it comes to that. A little bit more of what we have. I want to show you this next particular one. And here it is. And on this one, look what is shown here. And we'll blow this one up a little bit more. So it states the digital twin and the digital thread, right? Any meaningful discussion of the digital twin should likely also include a discussion of a closely related concept known as the digital thread. At its highest level, a digital thread is a continuous, seamless strand of data that connects each stage of the product's life cycle from design to build to in the field usage. It provides, in effect, the channel through which data about the product travel. Such data, their storage, ready access, modeling, and analysis are what creates the ability to model production and drive efficient supply chain communications. At the end of the day, I mean, I've heard people in the past, which, I think it's naive, to be honest. So a while back, I even posted a video. It was a deep dive in regards to Quant and what they bring to, supply chain and logistics and stuff like that. And, people are saying, nope, they don't do that. It's all, for instance, VET and a little bit of Morpheus network. You got to keep in mind, there's other players. If we're talking about, for instance, payments, like we mentioned, is it just all strictly Ripple XRP? Well, that might represent a big, maybe one of the largest amounts, but there are also other players. Enter in, for instance, Jasmy. You have this whole concept of, the storage, the ready access, the modeling. You get it, right? It says when one thinks about the digital twin, one may think of, quote, a living phenomenon, a model of a non-static product or process whose purpose is to optimize business performance. That's the whole point of why we were even, highlighting some of these things. Business performance, right? This is all designed and engineered to cater towards a brand new society for people to thrive on, let's face it, the opposite side of the world. We may not like some of these concepts. We may, turn it down here in the United States. But you got to understand, there is a large population, let's face it, in Asia that is going to be accepting some of these technologies. And if you also think about it, look at the countries that are in that Southeast Asian region. That right there, I believe, represents over 60% of the world's population, right? So some people are always focused on what we're doing here in America, North America, so on. You got to keep in mind, there is a big market that wants to improve based on where we're going here in the future. Is this a perfect example of some of the technology that gets you there? I think so. So, it states here that the insights of the digital twin in turn may cause a change in product design or a manufacturing process to alter the digital thread for future iterations of the object under consideration. Of course, there's more information in regards to this, but I'm going to scroll down. And, again, it just kind of shows you this. And you guys seen this in video, but I wanted to bring it to your attention. It was nice to see a little bit in regards to the dev team and so on and so forth. And if anything, let me share this tab. And again, I want to just basically thank Mr. Brian for sharing this. He did give us some kudos, And this is one thing I love about the Jasmy community. He tagged, for instance, the guy that provided us the deep dive research for, that series that you guys saw last week or the last couple of weeks. He even tagged us in regards to, Warx Explains. Heck, he even tagged, Sean the Crypto Smith, which is good stuff. But, there's other, obviously, references to digital twin. I'm just going to show you this one last part. And I do like this. Look at this highlighted, right? Healthcare. Human digital twins can be used to create personalized treatment plans for patients based on their individual genetic makeup and medical history. This can lead to more effective treatments and better outcomes for patients. I mean, when we talk about some of these strategic partnerships for Jasmy, that's amazing. That is beyond amazing as far as I'm concerned. And, it just continues to impress day in and day out, to say the least. And, I'm really glad to be able to cover this continuously in regards to all this. So I'm going to get back in the comments. The last part of our coverage for Jasmy will be about this thing called Society 5.0. And I'll be glad to share that here in a moment. Let me just go ahead and stop the share in regards to this real quick. And give me just a second. Here we go. All right. So again, smash that like if you haven't done so already. Thank you again to everybody who's here tonight. We're going to get further down into the comments. Rafael Santos, welcome back. He says, hello, guys. Hello, sir. Max, good day to you. Good day to you as well. Here's an update in regards to Spell. So thank you for sharing this. Cars and Crypto says Spell is on every exchange and all major blockchains. Super liquid. Just want to hear your input on it. Thanks. No problem. Yeah, let me see if I can actually just, maybe we could take a moment to do maybe a brief intro in regards to that. And I definitely want to get into some of the other stuff that we have tonight as well. I think we are, how long are we into the show? Hour and 23 minutes. I think we have some time. All right, so let's try to see if we can pull up Spell real quick. Spell token. Okay. Yeah, we can take a brief moment to get into this. So let's do a quick intro in regards to Spell. Let's go ahead and share this. Here we go. So here it is from CMC, and it's got a current rank of 326. Some of the tags you see here is Olympus Pro ecosystem, Arbitron ecosystem, DeFi 2.0, protocol owned liquidity. The volume is up currently 17.32%. They do have confirmed market cap of 72 million. There's currently a circulating supply of looks like 107 billion, 405 million. Max supply is 196 billion, and it's equal to the total supply. Here's some of the markets that they're on. They're on quite a few decentralized exchanges like Sushi Swap, Spooky Swap, Uniswap, so on and so forth, right? Some of these other ones I've never heard of, like Beethoven from Phantom with an F. All right, so that's good to see. They're on some of this stuff. Centralized, they're on Binance, not Binance. I imagine not Binance US, but Binance, Coinbase. Maybe they're on Binance US. I don't know. Kraken, Gemini, right? Crypto.com, even. Some of you guys really like Crypto.com. They're on Ishmart and KuCoin. So if I was going to get into this, I'd probably get on KuCoin. You know, I have a bunch of stuff on crypto.com. I don't know. I'm one of those guys that just prefers KuCoin. It might be hard to use at first, but once you get used to it, it's just my preference. I like it a lot better. All right, so this is sitting at a price of 0.0006745, so 0.0006745. So at the end of the day, what the heck is ACRA spell token from abracadabra.money? You know, abracadabra.money, new money. All right, so it says, sorry, the abracadabra front end is not available in your current location. Ugh. So it's blocking me out already. All right, that's not cool. I don't have a VPN currently installed. I used to. Let's see about me refreshing the page real quick. All right, let's see if we could do it again. And wow, it's not going to let me do that. So that is not cool as far as that goes. Sorry. But maybe you could just jump into the Twitter real quick. It says borrow, leverage, or earn a yield. Well, it's hard to take a deep dive into something in which I don't have access to. But doesn't mean it's a bad project. It just kind of ruined the flow for right now for a proper intro. I'll have to obviously, you know, not right now because we're on a live stream, but I'll have to. Sorry, man, that they just kind of blocked me right there. So I'm gonna have to obviously install like a VPN, like maybe not even on just a plugin like a hotspot. I don't have a Hotspot Pro right now. I used to be subscribed to that. But anyway, turn on this fan. All right. I know that's not what you're looking for, but again, you know, if it's going to be blocking me, I gotta. We can revisit this topic another day. Sorry about that. I mean, it's not really my fault, but all right. Panther Man says, for instance, no way, Tim. I hear. Hello, what's up, Tim? All right, let's go further down. Hey, I want to welcome this guy, the X Frontier. Appreciate the love, bro. Thanks for all the shout outs. Much love. Yeah, you're very, very welcome, man. You know, let's give your channel a plug. I'm so glad. It's an honor to actually have you here, believe it or not. And I just want to state, like I mentioned numerous times, guys, give the X Frontier a follow. The reason why you want to do that is because he's killing it with the Casper coverage. Obviously, he covers other ones. But yeah, let's go ahead and give him, you know, highlight his channel real quick. And let me show you guys real quick. So the X Frontier. Hold on. Let me pull this up. Oh, let me. What the heck is going on with that? Oh, here it is. Here's some good stuff. So we're going to show this. And here's his channel. And like I mentioned, I mean, he absolutely kills it when it comes to the Jasmy coverage. Or Jasmy coverage, excuse me. Casper coverage. I talk about Jasmy so much. It's really good. So, in my opinion, you and Kevin Cage are like the two top guys covering, you know, Casper. But, I mean, he's very passionate about what he covers. He has great deep dives. But look at this, guys. I mean, if you want somebody that really just continuously gives you the information when it comes to Casper, it's definitely him. The X Frontier. I mean, look at this. I mean, it's just he's always got coverage on Casper. You and Kevin Cage, I'm just saying flat out, you guys probably do it better than anybody when it comes to this stuff. We do cover Casper as well. I haven't done a video, I don't think, in probably about at least 2 or 3 weeks, but I do love talking about Casper. We cover it here on, you know, some news updates and so on. But yeah, guys, give him a follow at the X Frontier. And thanks for so much for even just dropping by. That was really, really nice of you. Yeah, no problem. You know, we get credit where credit's due, and you can really tell that you enjoy what you're doing. I believe your name is Jesse, if I'm not mistaken. So shout out to you. Hopefully I got it right, Jesse. Glad to have you here, X Frontier. We'll leave your page up for a bit too as we get through some more comments. Panther Man says, I smashed the like button. All right. Thank you so much for being here, Panther Man. And Tim Shea says, here every day, bro. Obviously, we always appreciate that, Tim. Thank you, man. Sean Francis, welcome back. He says, Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. We will work around Gary Gensler's diabolic bag of tricks. Okay. If that was Mike Cornwell, it might have very well said diabolic bag of, So, yeah, anyway. All right. Nelly there says, why are they pursuing digital twins when they have med beds? Because digital twins is pretty darn, impressive in my opinion. And knowing that you already have the Sony connection, so that just simply makes sense. At the end of the day, you want to work with companies or organizations that that you already have ties to, like from the past, right? We understand that, like for instance, WITS being a Sony. Was it Kashi technically being some of these things are, now I'm all over the map. Jeez, there's so many different ones, but the point is being a subsidiary, right? All right, GG, welcome back. He says, what's up, people? Glad to have you back. And he says, right back at you. Fathom is on XDC. That's cool. Tim Shea is right on top of that. Really has a channel primed and ready to go. Thank you guys for giving him a sub. That's awesome. Cars and crypto. Thanks, Max. TS on Binance US and Binance External. Oh, that's cool. I've been following the X-Man. Thank you, Max, for mentioning him. Yeah, no problem, man. Satchel of eggs. Lol. Well, hello, Mr. Muff. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to jump into the next part of our coverage that we have tonight for you guys. And we're going to get into that in just a second. Actually, it's this last part, to wrap up the Jasmy coverage. So I want to show you guys this. And remember talking about this whole thing of Society 5.0. All right. So here it is. And it states the future of human-machine interface, HMI, and Society 5.0. Like, what the heck is this? Is this like Skynet or something like that? Not necessarily, right? It's just other references for digital twin, right? So it says, the blending of human and mechanical capabilities have become a reality in the realm of Industry 4.0. Some people, like Richard Common says, crypto calls it the fourth industrial revolution, right? It says enterprises are encouraged to design frameworks capable of harnessing the power of human and technological resources to enhance the era of artificial intelligence. Over the past decade, AI technologies have transformed the competitive landscape, particularly during the pandemic. Now, just think about this for a minute, right? The next big thing, in my opinion, that's going to happen for Jasmy, and we're probably going to hear about it soon, is in regards to the AI tech engine, right? They mentioned that this is supposed to be part of Q2 2023. We're already in Q2 2023. So I wouldn't be surprised that, after they go to some of these big conferences and so on, we will get more information in regards to this. Well, what about this? It mentions this whole concept of, like it says, transforming towards the integration of suitably skilled people and cutting edge technologies, emphasizing the need for focus on the upcoming super smart society known as Society 5.0. Well, in order to have a smart, super smart society in this, this concept, right? I think that's why they're trying to develop, obviously, smart cities. So what is this whole thing in regards to Society 5.0? And that's a great question. We're going to show you a particular video. This is only less than 5 minutes. So I'm going to show you guys this. And if anything, smash that like if you haven't done so already. Here it is, Society 5.0, a research education short film by Denise Warda. Here we go. All right, that was cool to show that. My thing was there's a specific part that it mentioned in regards to prolonging life expectancy. Like you even mentioned like 140, 150 years. That's insane. Some people have the attitude like, why would I want to live to be that long? Well, it just depends. How is your quality of life going to be? That's the main thing. Some people, like I mentioned the concept, like, some people don't even want to make it to 80. Like my neighbor friend, his name is Paul down the street. He's just like, when I'm 80, I'm done. I'm done with this whole thing. Well, teach his own. But we both did agree. It just depends on that quality of life. I mean, if you're having a hard time moving around and getting around, what kind of quality of life are you going to have? So for some people, let's face it, like in the Japanese region, it's been mentioned before on reports. For instance, like the people of Okinawa, right? They're supposed to have like some of the longest life expectancy. Some people say it's because of the nutrients that are in the soil, or the type of oils they use, and so on and so forth, right? Why they have this long life expectancy. But anyway, in the video clip, you did see that was mentioned in regards to extending life expectancy, right? Could that very well be a thing with Society 5.0? Well, that's one of their missions, right? All right. So glad to share this with you guys. I'm going to kick it into the comments here in a bit. It's going to double check the screen, see how we're doing. So yeah, let's jump into some of this. And glad to have, of course, X Frontier here. Thanks for stopping by. Don't even know if you're still here, but that's okay. We do appreciate you stopping by. It was nice to feature his particular channel. All right. Who would live in Society 5.0? Apparently, like I said, like Japanese people, some of these Asian countries. It might not be something that will ever work out here. Some people think, well, it's going to happen here. Not necessarily. I mean, the way we look at things are totally different from that other side of the world. So, but it definitely will work in certain regions. That is for sure. I definitely seen it working out in Japan, for instance. Henry Brown says, looks like Middle East is coming with smart cities. I heard Floyd Mayweather has invested into Middle East smart cities, and Akon invested in Africa smart cities. Interesting. Michael Montclair says he has 75,000 spell he got almost 2 years ago. He also states that Doge Mars is working with the Methuselah ore to make 90 the new 50. Interesting. And as we know, Methuselah, right, from the Bible, he was considered the person that lived the longest of anybody, right? 969 years old. My goodness, right? All right. So let's jump into the next bit of coverage that we have. And let me see what we got. Might not be able to get into all of this today. Let me see. Yeah, we'll just do, this is just a quick bit on quant. Not gonna be like a big deep dive in regards to like how Jasmine was. So we'll share this, and then after this, we're gonna jump into some BSV, believe it or not. So here it is, and shout out to Miles Braun, who is this particular guy right here. He states, nobody wants you to break the system itself, but that is what true disruption is. Covers quant, LCX, HBAR, XLM, and even XRP. Basically everything we cover as well, right? I think I'll give him a follow. All right. So he says, quant worked with the DPF. Now Bank of International Settlements is the central bank for central banks. They are the granddad of central banks. This is indirectly massive for quant. Earlier we did the video about, quant and Swift, right? So Bank of International Settlements controls 95% of the global GDP in some form of way. Oh my God, right? Like that's insane, So, obviously they're a big player, right? I mean, we talk about, for instance, the BlackRocks of the world being, the world's largest asset custodian. Well, what about who is the biggest of the central banks? Well, if that's the case, it might very well be the Bank of International Settlements, right? So there's this whole thing from the Digital Pound Foundation. It was posted 11 hours ago. It says they are excited to announce our upcoming webinar in regards to, let me just come back in the frame. on May 17th with Bank of International Settlements Innovation Hub at Accenture, in which they'll be discussing their exciting work on the Project M Bridge. Now, here it is, and it's going to happen on Wednesday, the 17th of May. It's going to be from 3 to 4 p.m. London time. As you can see, Digital Pound Foundation will be present, Bank of International Settlements Innovation Hub, and even Accenture will be there, right? This information was posted, I believe, earlier today on May 3rd. So we're going to jump into this for a brief moment. And as you can see here, I mean, they have this whole thing where, they're going to be talking about connecting economies through CBDCs, cross-border payments, and FX. Now, look what the description here. It says, building on the G20's priority to experiment with the use of new technologies to deliver real-time, cheaper, and safer cross-border payments and settlements, the Bank of International Settlements Innovation Hub Hong Kong Center, the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, the Bank of Thailand, and even the Digital Currency Institute of the People's Bank of China and the Central Bank of the United Arab Emirates completed Project M Bridge, the first ever central bank digital currency CBDC pilot involving 4 jurisdictions and real value transactions. Now, there's some big things that are obviously happening. I don't know if they happen necessarily today, but we mentioned the whole thing with Shangzhou, China, Quant, was IBM, MIT, right? Were big players to help get that done. In regards to Project M Bridge, it says experiments with cross-border payments using a custom-built platform based on distributed ledger technology upon which multiple central banks can issue and exchange CBDCs. The M Bridge ledger offers a new architecture which fundamentally changes how FX transactions take place. Why pay attention to this? Well, why pay attention to any of it? If you think about it, it's because we're trying to pay attention to what's going on with this new monetary system. And who are some of the big players that are involved with this? Obviously, the Bank of International Settlements, right? So it says the project was groundbreaking in its use of real money between the participating central banks, something never done before at this scale. Think about that for a moment. So who, again, can help things get done at scale for like hardly anything? And basically with 3 lines of code, enter Quant's Overledger. So it says 20 participating commercial banks use the platform to settle payments for corporate customers focusing on cross-border trade. Over 12 million in value was issued onto the platform, facilitating over 160 cross-border payments and FX transactions totaling more than 22 million in value. Now, in this particular webinar, I mean, obviously not everybody is going to be able to attend this, but they're going to speak to experts involved in M-Bridge to explore what's next and how this new innovation can be harnessed. How does FX community view this, and how could it address the day-to-day challenges in the industry as what we're facing, and what might we find in the findings of M-Bridge, and what it means, for instance, for London as an FX hub. You name it, right? The whole concept of expanding M-Bridge to like a digital pound, digital euro, you name that. But obviously, there's going to be some key speakers here. For instance, you're going to have Jenna Pache, who's policy lead at the Digital Pound Foundation. She has been featured with Gilbert Verdian of Quant. Understand that just because Gilbert resigned, he didn't get terminated. We covered this, I think, last week on Utility Talk Now with Cryptosmith, Sean the Cryptosmith. In regards to the guy from Bank of International Settlements, you have Daniel Eden. He's an advisor, solution architect at BIS Innovation Hub. So there's some big names here. Even this guy, right, from Accenture. And then Nayland Ladd, Metaverse Continuum Business Group, Digital Currency, Accenture, right? So this is a big thing. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw Quant Papa chop some of this up and share it, but I wanted to bring it to you guys. This next particular segment is going to be on BSV, and we're going to kick into the comments just for a brief bit. So smash that like if you haven't done so already. Want to welcome Wayne Sign. He says, I'm in DOGE Mars. 1 billion. Anyone with me? Surf's up, man. Well, welcome back, Mr. Wayne Sign. Glad to have you here, and hopefully you enjoyed a good surf. Craig Connor says, hi, I found this token, Jerry, on BNB Smart Chain. It is a 10 out of 10 BNS task, gives reflections, lots of tokens. It will pull back 30% at times. Everyone just to see the reflections buy 20 to 80 bucks. Oh yeah, no, we did hear about this. That was the Jerry Springer token. I'm not completely oblivious to. I did see some coverage in regards to that, like on other channels that cover like DGen plays and so on. But welcome back, Craig Connor. We're going to kick it into this segment in regards to BSV. So here we go. And this is it right here. And it says, what is blockchain infrastructure? This was posted, of course, back on April 4, 2023, but it was recently retweeted on the Bitcoin Association site for BSV. It says, although the concept of blockchain existed before Bitcoin was created, it states that, by Dr. Craig Wright, right? Look what it mentions, whether you agree with this or not, aka Satoshi Nakamoto in 2009, the world famous Bitcoin white paper provided the first workable implementation thereof. In this article, we describe blockchain as a fundamental part of the peer-to-peer cash system as prescribed by Satoshi Nakamoto. The term blockchain infrastructure, and let me see if this is big enough. Hold on a second. It's not, so let me fix that real quick. Let me make it nice and big. All right, there we go. All right, so the term blockchain infrastructure can be used ambiguously. But on one hand, it can refer to the infrastructure that powers a blockchain. On the other hand, it can be used in the context of developers using blockchain as infrastructure for running their applications on top of. Since both areas have connecting points that merge well with each other, we'll discuss both aspects of blockchain infrastructure in this article, right? So this is good stuff. So in regards to blockchain infrastructure, running the blockchain, it says blockchain infrastructure can refer to the underlying system that enables the functioning of a blockchain network, including hardware, software, network components, you name it, right? For smooth operations on the blockchain, the infrastructure is responsible for maintaining the integrity of the data, verifying transactions, all this good stuff, right? So why pay attention to some of this? Well, again, we're going to get into some of this stuff, but it says to maintain the integrity of the ledger, the blockchain requires a network of nodes that validate transactions on the ledger. These nodes communicate with each other using peer-to-peer P2P protocol, which allows them to share information, synchronize their records in real time. Another important component of blockchain infrastructure is the consensus mechanism. Understanding what is so important in regards to that, we have covered in regards, deep dives in regards to consensus. So it says consensus is the process by which the network agrees on the validity of each transaction and ensures that all nodes have the same copy of the ledger. While there are many different types of consensus finding models, listen to this, guys. Only proof of work, however, as used by Bitcoin SV, has been shown to handle several million transactions per day. He's probably not even here. Shout out to Cool Cat Crypto. He's mentioned for the longest time, hey, look out for Bitcoin SV. They're going to handle several million transactions per day. And it's just like, really? Or, for instance, I think you mentioned one particular example. It's like we saw that, they could do 100,000 TPS. It's been labeled as the fastest blockchain in the world. Understand this is not traditional Bitcoin, right? Some people feel as though that this is the real Bitcoin. Well, what is this? And why should we pay so much attention to it? And is it really truly that, undervalued? In my opinion, that's why I'm continuously trying to do coverage on BSV. I used to look at BSV as like really, really speculative. I said to myself, here's a particular project I don't really know about, but I will at least buy a little handful of this. But I become more and more impressed with this, and it is something I'm looking to DCA more into. Why? Again, look what's mentioned here. Several million transactions per day, and we'll be able to scale, and here's a big one, up to billions of transactions. Now, here's one of the key things. Last week, we showed you some of those particular interviews of Brian Doherty, who's, a big wig in the Bitcoin Association of BSV. He meets up with the New York State Senate. And again, why put so much emphasis on it? Well, because we know that New York is one of the most anti-crypto states out there. So to even have a conversation in that particular arena, if you will, That is big. So it says, due to the scalability and contrary to common belief, proof of work is also the most energy efficient consensus mechanism. So it's like, okay, enter Michael Saylor. Well, not really. Michael Saylor is just going to be a big proponent of what? Classic BTC, right? BTC, but not so much BSV. I don't even think he probably even looks into BSV. So it says, what is blockchain? There's a whole book on it. You can get it if you want. There's this part where it says node connectivity interfacing with the blockchain. It says in mainstream disclosure, did you know about this? Node connectivity is an overseen aspect when it comes to the scalability of a blockchain. The discussion focuses mainly on other aspects regarding scalability. At the end of the day, like as we say, if your project does not scale, you are literally stuck in the mud. Like, have you ever seen that movie? My Cousin Vinny, they're talking about, being stuck in the mud, especially in Alabama, right? So it says, however, it is node connectivity that determines whether a network operates fast or slow, whether a blockchain scales or not. True, right? You can have the fastest blockchain in the world, but if it doesn't scale and doesn't give the same experience for me, Mike Cornwell, Tim Shea, Michael, Montclair, some of the other guys, Henry Brown, Brian Dowie, and so on, then that's not true scalability, right? You have to be able to scale. So it says other blockchains require developers who build on their own system to run a node. This is not only means that they have to invest time and resources in this activity, but also leads to weaker performance in the network. Now listen to this in regards to Bitcoin SV. With BSV, on the other hand, this allows you to use the blockchain simpler as a user. For this purpose, Light Client was developed to allow businesses to simply interface with BSV using the blockchain as a plug-and-play infrastructure. That sounds cool in itself, right? Is one of the reasons why the BSV blockchain is suitable for developers and businesses as a blockchain infrastructure, which leads us to the misconception, and here's the juicy point, that Bitcoin is not suitable for so-called smart contracts and for developing applications. Right, it's not, like traditional Bitcoin. But is it BSV that gets it done? My answer would be yes. So it says Turing completeness of Bitcoin. Turing completeness expresses the ability of a programming language or system to perform any computation that a Turing machine, for example, a computer that can compute anything can compute. Contrary to popular belief, Bitcoin is already Turing complete in the original protocol. Now, I want to state this for people who are tuning in, or maybe you're watching this on the recorded. Keep in mind this. BSV is always going to refer to themselves as Bitcoin. So when you see some of these things labeled here, understand that this is BSV. I don't want to see a person in the comments on a recorded video. They're like, this is ridiculous. There's no way, Bitcoin can do this. Again, I would agree with you. With, BTC doesn't have smart contracts, obviously. Them at Bitcoin Association, BSV, literally refers to themselves not as BSV, they refer to themselves as just that, like Cool Cat Crypto was saying, as Bitcoin. So as we get further into this, it says, Bitcoin is already Turing complete in the original protocol. It is only the later forks of BTC and BCH that significantly limit the potential of the original protocol. This is what Dr. Craig S. Wright, the inventor of Bitcoin, and Ryan X. Charles, founder of Money Button, have elaborated in detail in a lecture, right? So in the lecture, they point out that Bitcoin is Turing, this complete thing in three ways. They're unrolling loops into the script. They have payment channels. Yeah, believe it or not, BSV, like Cool Cat mentioned, is going to be a big player when it comes to payments. We got to understand that it's not just one that's going to get done, but who is also part of the mix, right? So enter in BSV. So it says emulating an unbounded tape. Of course, if you're more interested, you can watch the full thing. We're not going to do that. But it says BSV, the ideal choice for blockchain infrastructure. Is it truly? Again, just a little bit more. So in this article, they briefly touch on how BSV's infrastructure helps it scale as a transaction system, making it suitable for an infrastructure for applications and services in general. While other blockchains lack either scalability, security, or utility, BSV delivers the whole package. And that's the key thing. Do they truly deliver the whole package? Well, coming up here soon. Understand that, there's some big events that are going to be coming up. You have roughly, I believe, 7 or 8 people from BSV. They're going to be at some of these big conferences, right? Representing, BSV. You understand that, there's some big things that they're going to do in regards to IBM. We'll give you guys more of that information. But I was more than glad to be able to share this with you, and I'm going to jump into this next part of what we have on this outline. It's going to pound it home that much more. But for now, I'm going to pause this and jump back into the comments, just kind of keep up with the flow and read this next comment. So Marvin Davis says, "What's up, Max? Just got home from fishing. What's up, CTN fam? Glad to have you here, Mr. Marvin Davis. Fishing sounds fun. What did you catch? And if so, did you catch your limit? What kind of fish is it? Are you going to eat the fish? You're going to bake it? You're going to fry it? Let us know." So welcome, and especially if your cousins are here, welcome them as well. River says BSV is super underrated. Yeah, I mean, that's the conclusion I came to. I think it is, and I think it's very, very overlooked or not even looked at like properly, right? I think for the most part, I mean, maybe I was even one of those naive people, I looked at like, man, I don't know. I'm just going to get into it because, speculation. But when I did more of my own research, I found out, wow, this is really impressive. I mean, IBM, as we saw last week with some of those particular interviews, they are definitely making a big deal about BSV. So, it's like, why would they do that? I mean, why aren't we seeing interviews when it comes to IBM with HBAR? We understand that they're a big partner with HBAR, or why don't we see it with, like, for instance, Quant, so many other ones? I'm not flooding those other projects, of course not. But you are definitely seeing the interviews with IBM in relation to BSV. That's solid. That is impressive. All right. Any thoughts on BTC ordinals? No, not personally. If anybody else has some thoughts, you can share them. What are your thoughts? How about that? What are your thoughts? Craig Connor says, "Hi, Tim. I am learning how to enter a few-hour trade. PayPay is working well for this. Bottom fishing, you can lose your bait in a few seconds. Just wait and nibble in." All right. Coochie Boy says, "Bitcoin as a BTC is developing a BRC20 token with smart contract capability." Oh, I didn't know that. Did not know that. BRC20 is on the Bitcoin blockchain. Interesting. Well, just because it has smart contract capabilities, what are they going to do as far as the actual speed? That's my main thing. Do you have a little bit more you want to share in regards to that, Coochie Boy? That's interesting, though. Marvin Day says, "Redfish on the Texas coast didn't get a limit, just under slot puppy reds." All right. Okay. To get a limit, but nonetheless, you have fun. That's the main thing, right? My thing is, one of these days I want to go like maybe fishing for, I don't know, man, like doing some big mouth bass or who knows, maybe even some stuff like out in the ocean, like marlin or something. I know that sounds crazy. I like the thrill of like wrestling the fish, and trying to, reel it in and, muscle around. To me, that's the main thrill, but for some people, they define it in different ways. At the end of the day, it's all what you love to do. I don't like dove hunting, believe it or not. I had dove hunted in the past. I even have a gun that's, a shotgun designed for dove hunting. But my thing is, I mean, yes, it's probably it's the one that takes the most skill to hit on the wing. But my thing is, I enjoy pheasant hunting a lot more, duck hunting a lot more than, dove hunting. Dove hunting season, especially living in Phoenix, it's like, God, man, you get out there and it's like 110 degrees, 120 degrees outside. It just kind of kills it. It's kind of saps it. So I'd rather do like quail, especially duck, pheasant, chucker, stuff like that. All right. I'm going to get further down in the comments. Mr. Muff states he's got 20 BSV long open. Hopefully he'll catch a liftoff one day. Interesting. River says, "I picked up a couple more BSV this week." And Muff states, "Edward's about to come down for 2 days starting tomorrow. Work in crypto time." All right. So the next thing we're going to jump into is a little bit tad more what we have in regards to BSV. Cool stuff, right? So I'm going to jump into this next part. And this is a little bit more modern, or recent, I should say. So here it is. So why, basically speaking, BSV blockchain is the blockchain project for government and enterprise projects? Now, that's a good question. This was published originally on April 11th, so not that long ago. It says blockchain is more than crypto assets, is more than just CeFi, right? DeFi, so on and so forth, right? Other confusing abbreviations. Blockchain is not about anonymity. I can't even pronounce. I never could pronounce that word right. Eliminating third parties or avoiding regulation. This is the view of Simit Naik, Director of Commercial and Strategy, at Enchain. Speaking at the recent Philippine Blockchain Week, Naik explained that blockchain should instead be considered for its data integrity first and foremost, as it's basically acts as a timestamp server, peer-to-peer value exchange, and provides trust among parties. Public blockchains versus private ledgers. However, Naik stressed that not all blockchains are built the same, and that companies and governments often fall into the trap of developing their own private blockchain under the misguided assumption that it is more secure. I mean, a lot of them claim to be secure, but are they really truly secure? He explained that private ledgers offer, as we know, cheap fees but expensive infrastructure, not secure, needs to trust the network nodes, not publicly available. I mean, they make some good points here, right? Each deployment focuses on a single use case only. No independent data guarantees transparency or interoperability. That's why I love Quant so much, right? So it says, by comparison, public blockchains offer these things. They could be fast or slow. They could be cheap or expensive, secure when using proof of work, guaranteed data immutability, and are available everywhere. Now, why BSV? Well, we're going to jump into just a tad bit of this. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I want to jump into just a little bit in regards to this. So I found this. I thought it was good, and I thought I would share it with you guys. So why, for instance, basically, why BSV? Here we go. Smash that like if you haven't done so already. Let's play this.
Mabuhay, everyone. My name's Simit Naik. I'm the Director of Commercial and Strategy at Enchain. So today I'm going to talk about blockchain, and more specifically about blockchain for enterprise and government projects. So we've heard a lot today about Web 3.0, Web 2.0, NFTs, DAOs, DeFi, CeFi, DEXX. So today I'm going to give you a slightly different perspective and talk to you about some of the industry use cases that governments are looking for and some of the challenges we're looking to address. So very quickly, so I'm the Director of Commercial Strategy at Enchain. We're an organization based out of Zug in London, in Switzerland, an office in London, and as of 2 weeks ago, an office in Manila. And so we're a multinational company. We focus very much on research and development of blockchain technology, but also building solutions that take advantage of blockchain technology. Our mission is to secure the internet of value. Now, this is a phrase that you probably don't fully understand now, but at the end of the presentation, you should get a clear understanding as to exactly what we mean by the internet of value and the role we play in ensuring that we can deliver the foundational capabilities for governments, enterprises, and everyone here to be able to exchange data and value. So as an organization, we have three main areas of focus. Software, so we build a lot of software. We deliver software to our enterprise clients, our government clients. We also have professional services, so where people are still understanding how and where they can utilize blockchain, we'll help them on that journey. So very much focus on strategy and advisory. We also have one of the largest portfolios of IP related to blockchain. And so we do a lot of work to ensure that everyone has access to this IP, that everyone can build on the innovations that we deliver to the market. We have over 2,800 patents related to blockchain, which places us in the top 5 global patent holders for blockchain technology. And so when we think about the blockchain, we always think about Bitcoin and Ethereum and one of the other 7,000 tokens. But blockchain is more than cryptocurrency. It's also more than some of the terms we've listened to today, right? It's more than CeFi, it's more than DeFi, it's more than DEX, it's more than NFTs, it's more than DAOs. And blockchain is not about anonymity. It's not about eliminating third parties totally. And it's not about avoiding regulation. Blockchain is much, much, much more. And what blockchain gives us is data integrity. It gives us the ability to introduce transparency, integrity in the data that we all use and utilize in every interaction we have. It's a timestamp server. It's an audit trail of things that have happened, when and in what order. And as a timestamp server, it gives you the ability to introduce an immutable audit record of everything that's happened. And Bitcoin itself is just an audit of transactions that have occurred. But more importantly, the blockchain is about peer-to-peer value exchange. When Bitcoin white paper was introduced in 2009, the title of it was Bitcoin, an electronic peer-to-peer cash system. We kind of moved away from that, but the innovation that Bitcoin delivered was all about peer-to-peer exchange. And more importantly, and probably one of the most important points, is it provides trust among parties. As we evolve into more of a digital society, as we transition into Web3 and the metaverse, we are going to be interacting and exchanging data and value with people we don't trust. And the blockchain becomes a foundational capability in order for us to be able to do this. And so very quickly, kind of summarizing it, a blockchain is a distributed ledger. It enables micropayments. And again, one of the biggest innovations that Bitcoin delivered when it was first released was the ability to do micropayments. When we think about micropayments and the power it delivers, you can imagine in a world where we have IoT devices, we have connected devices, we have individuals, we have applications, we have NFTs, we have games. Every single one of those can be paying peer-to-peer microtransactions. And that fundamentally changes the way that we consume services and the way we build businesses in the future. And it's a secure infrastructure. And one of the things we'll be talking about is how we use blockchain for enterprise and government use. And for governments and enterprises across the world, security, resilience is probably two of the most important factors. And what blockchain gives us is a secure infrastructure for us to build upon. And scalability. We can't be in a position to deliver technology and benefits and value to people unless we can scale. And so blockchain that can scale, that's secure, is perfectly suited to the kind of projects and solutions that I'll be talking about later on. Before I do, it's probably worth kind of just differentiating between terminology. So when I talk about blockchain, I'm talking about public blockchain. Things like Hyperledger, Quorum, Corda are private ledgers. By their very definition, they're not blockchains. And so traditionally, governments have been looking at using private ledgers for building applications and products. Now, they're starting to transition to public blockchains, because public blockchains give them significant advantages over what a private ledger can. Private ledgers may be cheap, but they're not secure. They're still reliant on centralized entities. They're not publicly available, so you can't independently verify events or the truth. And there's no independent guarantee of anything that happens on a private ledger. On a public ledger, everything is publicly verifiable. Everything is visible. Anyone can go onto a blockchain and see the version of the truth and the events as they happened. Public blockchains can be fast and they can be cheap, but they need to be designed in such a way that they're scalable, they're performant, and they're cost-effective to run. And so it's important to know that not all blockchains are built the same. So if we want to build solutions for governments and we want to build products and solutions for enterprise clients, we need to ensure that we're building on a blockchain that's fit for purpose and that gives us the capabilities we need. It's one of the reasons that we build on a public blockchain called BSV. It's an enterprise solution. And the reason it's an enterprise solution is it's secure. It's been running for 13 years with no compromise. It's had a fully audited, full security audit of the node software and all of the infrastructure that it operates on. And it's immutable. So from a data governance perspective, a public blockchain gives you that security, gives you that resilience. Performance, we can't build digital payment systems or CBDCs on a blockchain if it can only do 7 transactions per second. So BSV blockchain gives the ability to do 50,000 transactions per second today, and soon up to 100,000 TPS. And so that gives us the ability to go to a central bank with confidence that we can deliver a solution to run a national payment system. Larger blocks means that not only are we able to transact and process more transactions, larger blocks also give us the ability to capture more data. So for transactions, embedding metadata in them gives more information, it gives more value. And so having a blockchain that not only processes more transactions, but also gives it the ability to store more data is a significant value add. And stability. Governments don't want to build on a blockchain that continually changes. With Ethereum going from proof of work to proof of stake, with other blockchains changing consensus mechanisms and changing the underlying data sets and business rules within the protocol itself, doesn't build confidence in central banks or governments. So BSV blockchain is stable. What exists today is going to exist in the future. What's valid today will exist and be valid in the future. And that gives us the confidence for us to be able to then build these applications and services on the blockchain itself. So we talked about blockchains. We talked about what constitutes an enterprise-ready blockchain. But it's also important to kind of focus on the top-down. So we focus very much on the bottom-up. And so when we think about what are the problems we're trying to solve and why blockchain makes sense, you can categorize them into 3 main areas. Data. Everyone uses data. Everyone's exchanging data. Everything that we do on a day-to-day basis revolves around data. But data is fragmented. Data is not accurate. It's difficult to share data or share the most accurate version of the data. Data is being compromised on a regular basis. And so how can you rely on data that you can't trust? And so blockchain is a key part of addressing that. Fragmenting systems, we talk about people not having access to banking services. People rely still heavily on cash. There's a significant proportion of this world that isn't included in the digital economy. They're not able to participate in, Web3 or DeFi. And so fragmenting systems is a big, big issue, and we need to address that. And again, blockchain gives us the ability to drive inclusion and drive accessibility. Lack of trust. We talked about data, but when we move to more of a digital commerce and more kind of connected ecosystems and we move into metaverse, we're going to be interacting with people that we don't know or people we don't trust. And so how do we facilitate the exchange of value and data with people we don't trust? And again, the blockchain gives us the ability to address that. And from a government perspective, there's probably 4 key challenges. 1, how can we use blockchain to enable policy? How can we use it to create jobs? How do we upskill and educate the population? And 4, promote inclusion. How do we deliver infrastructure and solutions that is fully inclusive, that allows anybody to access it and anybody to utilize it? Blockchain becomes a great equalizer, and we have to ensure that it remains inclusive and accessible. So from our perspective, we work a lot with governments and enterprises across the world. And we've started to understand and we started to focus on the top down. We started to understand the challenges, the problems that exist. And with our knowledge and expertise in blockchain, we started to design solutions that we are now taking to market. One of the first ones is CBDC, so central bank digital currency. This is, for me, I'm very passionate about CBDC. I believe that it's the single most important thing that any central bank can do, especially to drive inclusion. And when we talk about inclusion, inclusion is not just financial, it's societal and it's digital. And CBDC is going to be a key part of how we drive inclusion. And our approach is using a public blockchain to deliver transparency, to deliver traceability, to deliver pure peer-to-peer payments. It's token-based, which means we can provide a digital form of cash, so it's inclusive and it's performant. We can process 100,000 TPS or 100,000 transactions per second. And we've done it in a flexible way, so depending on how the central bank wants to deploy, we can go direct, we can go down a 2-tiered model. We can also incorporate commercial banks and fintechs. So we can provide opportunities to new organizations and new startups to be part of this new ecosystem. We're delivering the underlying capability to deliver a digital cash payment system, which allows people to then innovate on top, right? So not only are we now addressing the challenges with inclusion with a more effective, more digital, more cheaper form of cash, we can now start looking at how do we implement monetary systems on top to be able to support and address the challenge with the underbank. And so one of the biggest things, and there's a lot of words on here, so I just want to pull out a couple of them, peer-to-peer payments. You'll notice that peer-to-peer is referenced in this presentation a lot because peer-to-peer is the single most important innovation that Bitcoin and the blockchain delivered. The ability to transact between two individuals without an intermediary is a game changer. And the way we think about it in the future and some of the use cases that we want to utilize and deliver, peer-to-peer is one of the foundational capabilities. Being scalable, being token-based, being low transaction costs means we can deploy this in some of the most underdeveloped countries in the world to drive inclusion, both financial and digital. We look at wholesale, so where we think about cash for retail CBDC and for being a payment system for citizens. Wholesale allows us to deliver a system for commercial banks, for fintechs. It gives them the ability to provide a faster and cheaper form of money. And then this is slightly different. This is more account-based. It still uses the blockchain. The blockchain gives us the ability to do atomic swaps. It allows us to do things like building in automated market makers, so we can do FX swaps faster and cheaper. And this gives us the foundational capability to then start delivering fintechs, with the ability to introduce new ways of making payments, both remittances, cross-border, also domestic in terms of digital payment rails. And we can do it using private money, like stablecoins. We can peg it to assets or commodities. Very flexible, gives us the ability to deliver a system that is comparable to SWIFT. But there are also other use cases. So in Tuvalu, we're delivering a digital money solution that allows people to access a digital form of money because they're fragmented over 9 islands. They still rely on physical cash. Every quarter, the Tuvalu government have to ship physical money to the island and then distribute. Our system means they no longer have to do that. It gets money into the hands of people quicker and faster, which is helping to accelerate the economy. If you want to learn more about this, then I'll be at the booth and we can talk more then.
All right. So I said basically that, we'll watch it like 5-6 minutes and so on. And then we got further into it. I did a review, the 5-6 minute part, but after that particular part, I said to myself, wow, this is pretty good, pretty good info. So I thought I'd just go ahead and play the whole thing. And we didn't lose quite a few, people in that regard. So I guess you guys, probably enjoyed or appreciated the content. But yeah, I become more and more impressed with BSV. I did see some of you guys' comments in regards to this. So give me just a second. I'll answer this. River says, dove hunting, huh? Yeah, I used to. I just don't like the, how hot it is during that season. So typically speaking, dove season is September 1st. And it's like, shoot, man, here in Phoenix, it's like 115, 120 degrees at that time. Even getting out there early in the morning, it's just, you also keep in mind, like, that's like rattlesnakes, like they're out there big time during that time. When it's super hot, that's like, perfect breeding grounds for the rattlers to come out. Which, let's face it, I mean, for doves, you use number 8 shot, at least I do. It's got the perfect spread. You just line up the bead and blow a rattler away, you gotta do what you gotta do. But another thing I like being able to eat the some of these birds, right? Like the meat off of it, and dove meat is more like that darker meat. I'm just not a big fan of dove in general, but it is the hardest bird to shoot on the wings. So as far as skill, I mean, that is thrilling, but overall, I just like Pheasant a lot better. Duck hunt, duck hunting. I love eating duck. Anyway, on this one, I don't understand it either. All I can say is, I mean, Jasmy 1D5L. That sounds like something like in regards to it going long or something like that, or that's not even traditional Jasmine. That's something different. So I don't have the answers on that. Maybe somebody like not Michael Moncler. You are Michael Moncler. Somebody like Elon Muff, Crypto Mike might be able to answer that particular question. Craig Connor says on the other side of the world is waking up. PayPay is starting to scream up. Wow, 1,000 new wallets in like 5 hours. How long ago was this? Not too long ago. Now at 81,500 or so. Why isn't BSV only on a few exchanges, not on Coinbase? Some people, I mean, there's some theories in regards to this. So one thing we heard from Cool Cat is that, the bigger players, they want to suppress us, don't want us to have this because, they want it for themselves. Again, that's just a theory. I mean, I'm kind of on board with that. But I do agree with Coochie Boy, and that is this: low trading volumes. So, don't let this deter you from possibly getting BSV. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not trying to sell you on BSV. But the way I look at it is, we saw some other particular projects that got delisted, because of low trading volumes and so on. That doesn't mean that the project is bad. I think I saw a while back, I forgot what platform it was on. Maybe it was Stellar. People were saying, it's just low trading volumes. Are you kidding me? Like, am I going to get out of Stellar XLM because some particular exchange had low trading volumes? But here's the thing, right? There's something solid here when you saw that interview. So, that gentleman from BSV, he mentions, 100,000. Well, currently speaking, 50,000 TPS, right? That still would probably make it even faster than Solana. So if you have something in which, like you mentioned, they could do up to 100,000 here soon. Let's say they don't even do it, and it's just 50,000 TPS. Well, with Ripple's XRP, I mean, what was that, like 1,500 XLM, like right around that same particular range? So those technically, it's more than enough to get the job done as far as that bank money. But if these guys really are, and I believe it, are going to be a big player that comes to the table as far as being blazing fast to transfer that money for CBDCs, then the way I look at it is this will be a perfect example of these prices where they're at now because of the low trading volume and so on, right? We're roughly around 32 to 35 bucks for BSV. Is that a great entry point for when we go into a true, approach all-time highs for, some people say like the true bull run, or at that point, are we at a utility run, or is it a combination of both? Could very well be, but let's just say it's not a utility run and it is approaching some of the all-time highs. You better believe that, that will create demand for BSV because, the central banks are obviously using it, right, for CBDCs. So that demand for it will kick up. The price will reflect that. I mean, again, I'm not trying to do a fortune teller type scenario, but I mean, I don't feel like I'm too far off of this. So the price will kick up tremendously. And then as far as that price volume, that's where, the FOMO comes in. The FOMO money, the retail money, even on the select exchanges, let's face it, like, KuCoin and so on, they see it, they're like, oh my gosh, I got to get me some BSV. And at that particular point, it's like, yeah, okay, go ahead and get yourself some BSV. We already got it in the, the 30 some odd dollar range. You're getting into it because you're FOMOing in. I mean, I'm saying you as in these people. And they buy, let's face it, the top of the mountain. So it's just another particular example of how that works. All right. GS reporting that PayPay dropped at a 0. Nice. I'm glad you guys are, who got into that and did well. That's good, man. Good for you guys. All right. Let's see here. Michael Montclair says Costa Rica has 4 deadly snakes. I'll be wearing boots everywhere. Oh, is that where Zara's from? Is Costa Rica? Interesting. I believe it's Costa Rica, if I'm not mistaken. Wasn't the first Jurassic Park movie and as well as the third movie also filmed there, if I'm not mistaken. But I imagine it's pretty beautiful. All right. Craig Connor says you will need to wait for Pepe. It does not like to go below 10, but when it does, 98 to 96 is easy. When it hits the 8, then buy. Not sure how long it will dip to the 9s. After 14s, then there's no more 9s. Thanks for that update. Let's just go ahead and bookmark that. All right. I want to kick it into the next particular segment that we have. I don't even know if Tim Shea is still here, and sorry about that. But we'll get into some of his stuff here in a bit. I just got a DM from Coochie Boy, so we'll go ahead and share his first. And give me just a second. So let's pull this up. And this, again, shout out to Coochie Boy for providing this information. All right, give me a second. Pull up some of the banners again. There you go. All right, here we go. So we're always talking about this whole thing about the US dollar, right? So on this particular one, it says, and again, this is provided by Coochie Boy. Thank you, Coochie Boy. The US dollar isn't close to losing world reserve currency status to China. All right, well, good. I mean, I'm rooting for the USA all the way, right? So it says media coverage of China's efforts to supplant the US dollar's reserve currency status has reached a feverish pitch. Diplomatic announcements, ceremonial oil contracts, and narrowly selected data suggest that foreigners are increasing their acceptance of non-USD trade with China. We, of course, report on this numerous times. Countries in South America, are they using US dollars to buy oil, right? That's where we're going with this. It says, however, China's fiat is nowhere close to overtaking the US dollar. USD denominates over 88% of foreign exchange, FX, right? According to SWIFT, the world's dominant bank wire network, less than 3% of international wires contain China's fiat. All right, so there's that, right? Now, in regards to SWIFT, SWIFT ranks China's fiat fifth for international wires as of March 2023. And I'm glad that they're pulling this up, because, some of these rankings, it's like, okay, well, how long ago was this data gathered? And if so, like, what is the percentages? Well, boom, here's that info. The USD continually tops that leaderboard, followed by the EUR, as in the euro, even the Great British Pound, and then even Japanese yen. Over half of the world's business dominates commerce in USD or a USD pegged currency. Focusing on the world's largest business, oil, over 4/5 of the global oil contracts use USD pricing. Very, very true. Importantly, Hong Kong is China's international financial center. And they're lucky as hell, in my opinion, to be able to have Hong Kong, going along with a lot of the, I hate to say, the crap that they propose in the People's Republic of China. But to each his own. All right, so it says Hong Kong is China's international financial center. An overwhelming 73% of Chinese cross-border currency flows occur basically with Hong Kong, which it controls. Moreover, through a complex arrangement with the Hong Kong dollar, which is the HKD, which is pegged to the US dollar, China is able to guarantee de facto USD demand and pricing terms for many ostensibly HKD denominated contracts. Now, you may be wondering, like, why is that? I'll tell you why that is, basically. And I think a lot of you guys already know about this. So, you got to keep in mind, before 1998, Hong Kong was part of the British monarchy. You still have a lot of people who, were from that old system of how things used to be done. Used to be, like a pro-democracy in Hong Kong. And just because they've been under Chinese rule since 1990, was it January 1st, 1998 and to present, some people got this in the head that, Hong Kong has been completely blanketed by, communist rule, maybe on paper. Yeah, maybe on paper. But you also got to keep in mind that they are the one city, if you will, or the city. They used to be like a city state, if you will, in which understands that they're not going to go 100% pro communist. The ways of communism. Again, on paper, it appears that way, but they're located in this region of mainland China and so on as being the one that kind of, I guess you could say, tips the scale towards, in my opinion, pro democratic values and so on, right? For democracy. And of course, as the years go on and on and on, the CCP wants to suppress that, right? Their goal is they want to, get it so there is no percentage of anybody in Hong Kong, for the most part, that is part of the old system of old British monarchy. I can't pronounce it. British types of ways of pro-democracy and so on, right? So you got to take that into consideration when it comes to what you see here in that regard. Now, going down to this part about SWIFT, it says SWIFT notes that only 1,900 of its 11,000 international financial institutions even permit transmission of China's fiat, whereas over 95% permit USD transfers. It says terminology and currency pegs, as with most things in China's financial sector, the country's fiat has various names. For instance, the renminbi, which is RMB, Chinese yen, CNY, and yuan. That's how it's pronounced, apparently. Which is that Y. Its central bank, the People's Bank of China, issues its CBDC that also has several names: digital yuan, digital renminbi, or digital currency / electronic payment (DCEP). It's critical to note that China enforces strict capital controls, prohibiting most investment on mainland Chinese in non-Chinese assets. It severely restricts conversations of mainland yuan into any foreign currency. Since 2010, well, let's jump back there for a second. See how it says that it severely restricts conversations of mainland yuan into any foreign currency. But boom, we go back to like what I was mentioned earlier. You got to keep in mind that when it comes to Hong Kong, right? You got to keep in mind that they have this whole thing of a lot of the trade is still done in what? Here it is right again. Half the world's business, is in USD. And then you got the whole thing of Hong Kong, right? Again, just reiteration. I want people to understand that it's like, even if they try to weed out this whole thing with Hong Kong, are they going to do it within the next 20 years? I don't know. Maybe. But I mean, currently speaking, that's going to be an issue for them. So when you get further into this, it states that, you have this thing which says it's critical to note that China enforces strict capital controls. I think I mentioned this, prohibiting most investment of mainland Chinese and non-Chinese assets. It severely restricts conversations. I mentioned that. Sorry. Since 2010, China's government has prohibited its fiat in foreign exchange markets to trade outside a prescribed USD trading range. Although not technically a peg, because the government adjusts these trading bounds periodically, the currency's value is tightly managed. And, like it says, China is watching transactions as its CBDC rollout gains traction. I mean, I'm paying attention to what's happening in China, especially with this, whole thing of the Quant connection. Like some people are feeling like, is the price really going to move? We'll see. We also got to keep in mind it's China. So they're not really that transparent. So I mean, it'd be different if this was like a CBDC, for instance, in Europe with the central banks and so on. We probably get transparency right from the get-go. We could see, hey, you know what? Quant was part of this, blah, blah, blah. We should see some insane price action. So my thing is, as much as I want to talk on camera about, hey, guys, Shenzhou, China, 15 million people and so on, is that enough to really move the needle as far as Quant? Maybe a little bit. But again, are they going to be transparent? Probably not. How are they not going to be transparent? You got to keep in mind, China has lied to the world saying that they were never going to adopt anything that had anything to do with like blockchain or crypto and so on. And we found out that could be furthermore from the truth. So China claimed to have abandoned these FX controls in 2021, but markets still believe the currency is to be managed in a quasi-peg, despite ostensibly free foreign exchange markets and AstroTurf media about goals of attaining reserve currency status. China's fiat has conveniently not breached its 2010 instituted range of 6 to 730 per USD. So there you have it in regards to that. I mean, of course, there's a little bit more in regards to oil, all this stuff, but the main thing I wanted to show, and I think maybe Kushi Boy wanted to show, was this whole thing of, the US dollar isn't close to losing world reserve currency status to China. And that's good news. We're always, at least I am, rooting for the United States. So thanks to Kushi Boy for sharing this. Appreciate you, brother. And we're going to jump into the comments. All right. So let's go further down. Only one more comment. It says, not financial advice. Also not advice. 4 days before the end of the month, 1600 hours East time, BTC and everything dips big time. All right. Well, thank you for that info. Sounds like you follow your technical analysis pretty well. Thanks for that, Craig Connor. All right. I'm going to jump into the next part of what we have. This comes from Henry Brown. I don't even know if he's here. He's probably not, but let's go ahead and share this nonetheless. So here it is, and it is something that he posted earlier. If I would go ahead and share this with you guys. All right. So he basically, share this or retweeted. It says, electronic waste, blockchain improves customer experience and drives sustainability. Look what's tagged here: Ripple's XRP, Bitcoin, XLM, XDC, right? So what is this about, right? And, if anything, I want to take you to what this is about. Why pay attention to some of this stuff? So, hold on, let me exit out of that. It states electronic waste, right, improves customer experience and drives sustainability. I'm going to blow this up just a tad bit more. Why even pay attention to this stuff? Well, it's good info, I think we should all pay attention to some of these things. So here we have it, and plain as day, it mentions a few key things here. The guy's got a smartphone. It says blockchain can enable more efficient and environmentally friendly recycling programs, ensuring that electronic waste is disposed of properly. According to the UN, electronic waste has become the world's fastest growing domestic waste stream, with approximately 53.6 million metric tons generated in 2019 alone. Mobile devices can or have become an essential part of our lives. Yeah, no kidding, right? Like, who doesn't have a smartphone at this point? Maybe some elderly people don't, right? But the point is, it is part of our life. And it says, and while almost every person in the world is over the age of 14, for instance, already has one, the industry is still on track to sell 1.5 billion smartphones this year, right? And that's huge. So look at this. It says smartphones are the largest consumer product category ever created and the first 1 trillion category. However, increasing demand for new devices has contributed to a significant environmental problem, which is basically electronic waste. The mobile phone industry is one of the major contributors, obviously, with most of the environmental impact occurring before a new device is even taken out of its box. The production of a smartphone makes emissions of up to 85 kilograms of CO2. And look at this, guys. According to GSMA, the production of a single smartphone could result in emissions of up to 85 kilograms of carbon dioxide equivalent CO2e, while basically using device creates only 10 kilograms. Furthermore, a study from Accenture found extending the lifespan of a mobile phone from 18 months to 4 years could result in a 40% reduction in CO2 emissions. A longer lifespan means fewer new phones need to be produced, thereby reducing emissions from manufacturing, transportation, and disposal. So is this doom and gloom for mobile phone companies? Are you going to see the stock plunge because of that? Maybe. But maybe they'll make a more higher quality product. Or maybe because of 40% reduction, right? And you're going to see a longer lifespan. Let's face it, you're probably going to also see more expensive phones because they're going to sell you on the idea that it's going to last longer. Extending the lifespan of a mobile phone from 18 months to 4 years could result, like we mentioned, 40% reduction in those emissions. But there's a lot that's obviously mentioned here, and I thought I would share it because it comes from one of our community members, and we do appreciate them. I guess I'll get to this part, right? It says the role of blockchain technology. One critical way to address the concerns is through blockchain technology. I guess this is why you mainly mentioned it. It says which could track the life cycle of a device, including its manufacturing, distribution, ownership, and disposal. So when we talk about the whole thing of the Internet of Things, here is this another perfect example of tracking data. I don't want to mention Jasmy, but you could enter in other players. You could enter in IOTA. You can enter in for instance Nexera, right? There's other energy web. How about that? I think that would be the perfect example. Energy web token. Would energy web token probably be like one of the best use cases for something like this? Probably, right? Let's be honest. Probably, right? This is not intentionally supposed to be an energy web token segment, but technically speaking, on the surface, this would be the perfect example. Furthermore, by tracking the life cycle of a device, it's possible to streamline refurbishment, recycling, and resale processes, leading to faster turnaround times and lower costs. These efficiency savings would present more opportunities for global carriers, OEMs, companies, and individuals to participate in the circular economy. That said, the approach is not without its challenges. We know that, right? I mean, there's always challenges with anything. It is still relatively new and untested, on a large scale, and finding ways to make the process, which is very energy intensive and more energy efficient, it's critical. I will read this part real quick. Regulation, integration, education, and collaboration. These are several requirements for both technical and operational that would need to be implemented to enable blockchain in the mobile industry. I mean, it's good stuff, right? But, let's talk about just these two key things real quick, not these other things. Regulation. The government would need to create a regulatory framework for the traceability of devices, ensuring that data collected was secure and privacy compliant. I mean, no kidding. I think that's obviously the path forward. How about the integration cycle, right? How's that going to happen? It says mobile carriers and retailers would need to integrate blockchain technology into their existing systems to create a seamless, transparent experience for customers. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So, it's kind of a little interesting piece from that was shared from Henry Brown, and I'm glad to have him part of our community. Glad to share that with you guys. I'm going to jump back into the comments for a brief bit, and we're going to jump into, I think the next comment is from Mr. Elon Musk, and you may be wondering, why do you say Elon Musk so much? Well, you got to keep in mind, right? That's his name, right? This is the name this gentleman has chose to be. Now, you got to keep in mind, there's this saying goes, AKA, right? As known as. So when I first came across this wonderful gentleman back in, before, it was April, I think it was April or May of 2022. He was just known as the one and only Michael Cornwell. And he had a very nice looking avatar. And he even pointed out, he's smiling, he's got the peace sign. I was like, hey, man, look at that. You always look like you're a very up-tempo type of guy. And over the course of time, he's changed his name from, Michael Cornwell to, Crypto Mike. And then, there's another one he was for a while, right? The third one was his Crypto McDizzle for Shizzle, or something like that, or Crypto McDizzle, right? And I would say, Crypto McDizzle for Shizzle McDizzle for show. And then as of lately, because he's so inspired by the one and only Elon Musk, he decided, you know what? Forget this whole talk about going down to the grocery store or the Home Depot and picking up some like Brillo pads and stuff like that, or buying a meat coat. I'm just going to flat out change my avatar to the one and only Elon Musk. And so as a result, you have this. You have Elon Musk with a giant, yeah, you saw it right. I'm not going to say it, but you can, draw your own conclusion of how he obtained that for the background, And if you're interested on how he created the avatar, let me tell you this much right now. He has shared this with me. And it's definitely quite interesting how he obtained such information. But yeah, it's great having Mr. Elon Musk here. Here's his comment. He states the FDIC insurance fund currently covers less than 1.3% of the estimated 10 trillion of insured deposits. So, you may think that his name is just a complete joke and like, what the heck, Elon Musk? Like, why does Max keep saying Musk? I thought this was a friendly, family-friendly show. It is. You also got to keep in mind that once it goes past the 3-hour mark and so on, it becomes Crypto Talk Now after dark. And with that also said, if your children are still up at this particular time on school night, what the heck are you doing? So yes, I'm not going to filter, the name Elon Musk or, what's the other guy who used to come around, Mr. Dildo Shaggins or Mr. Who's the other guy? Mass debater and so on, right? Those are those guys' names. I'm not trying to, create controversy. Those are their names. So am I supposed to just do a filter? Again, like I mentioned the other day, I could say Elon Musk, but I can't say those other names. That's ridiculous. But anyway, he provides great information. But yes, he now goes by the name of the one, the only, Mr. Elon Musk. I salute you, sir. All right. River says, back up the truck if it does. That's a good point. Yeah, look at this. Muff. I read that it's a ticking time bomb. I mean, think about this, guys. I mean, you don't even refer to him as Mike Cornwall anymore. Nope, not at all. Right? It's just like, hey, Muff, how's it going? Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Not too bad. Hey, Max, I tagged you. And then I go into it, and what's the show? Mr. Elon Musk has tagged me. I mean, it's quite an interesting name. Elon Musk. You have to come up with some real creativity in regards to the name Elon Musk. And how about this? Sometimes we're tagging Elon Musk on Twitter, hoping, right, that he will recognize the tweet. Why isn't anybody tagging Elon Musk that there's a guy who's part of the CTN community named Elon Musk? Are you worried that you're going to get your Twitter account banned? Are you worried that Elon Musk is actually going to be like, you know what? Screw you, Magoo. Screw you, Magoo. I am literally going to take that blue check mark off of you. You made fun of my name. You refer to me as Elon Musk. I'm a giant freaking, whatever you want to call it, with a great big, muff background behind my head, and how dare you freaking try to diss me publicly on my own platform. I don't think that's the case. I don't think Elon Musk would cancel you out and get rid of your check mark, but it would be interesting if some of us in the community would start tagging and put in all our posts, reference towards Michael Cornwell with his Elon Musk and put at Elon Musk, for he could finally maybe find out about the show. Now, if Elon Musk finds out our show because of the Elon Musk tag, now some people are going to say that, okay, that's bad, Max. You don't want that to happen. The heck I know. If that's the way Elon Musk finds out about our show because of Elon Musk, then so be it. Let's make it happen. Let's do it. Boil it, mash it, stick it, and stew. Let's get into the next particular segment here in a bit. Thank you for joining us here at Crypto Talk Now After Dark. And shout out to the one, the only, Michael Cornwell, a.k.a. Crypto McDizzle for Shizzle Manizzle for Show, a.k.a. Elon Musk. What an introduction, right? Let's get into it. All right. All right. Got to have a little fun at this particular time tonight. I went a little off kilter, right? Yes, I did. Even this comment, it has nothing to do with Elon Musk. I could say, backed the truck up for Elon Musk. How about this? Yeah, Musk, I read that tickling time bomb. Tickling of the Musk. And then on top of that, Mr. Michael Montclair, the phone that changes and evolves with your life. A little make fake commercial, Elon Musk. Smiley face, Elon Musk. LOL, Elon Musk. Michael Cornwell changed his name from Michael Cornwell, not to Michael, or to the Elon Musk. It's now Michael Cornwell. My God. He changed it from Elon Musk to Michael Cornwell. Now, Nelly there says Crypto McDizzle for Shizzle Manizzle for show. Everyone's laughing. Good stuff. And then now he's on a different account, Crypto McDizzle for Shizzle. Will he come back as Elon Musk? Look at this. Yo McDizzle, right? Look at this. Musky Muff. Crypto McDizzle for Shizzle. What's up? AKA Elon Musk. And here he is, finally back as Elon Musk. I just said Elon Musk probably more times than the Scarface movie said mother effer in the particular movie. Maybe not quite, but coming pretty close. I just said Elon Musk about, 100 times within the last 10 minutes. That is a new CTN world record. But I'm not the one who started this. it is Crypto Mike who started the whole concept of Elon Muff. I mean, look at that avatar, for crying out loud. How creative you have to get for that. Next thing we know, we'll probably see GF Burke. He's like, hey, Max, guess what? I need Elon Musk's ETH address for MetaMask because I'm going to mint a metallic Elon Muff NFT. And I'm be like, you're going to have to contact Mr. Muff yourself. Oh, okay. How do I do that? Well, you guys worked that out. All right. Enough about that and whisker biscuits and all that stuff. Let's go ahead and kick it into the next part of what we have, if there is anything. We went on the whole Elon Muff segment fiasco, right? Which was quite interesting, to say the least. I mean, it is quite unbelievable at some particular times to talk about was, Elon Muff and all this stuff. So I want to jump into this, and this is, shout out to Mr. Tim Shea. And that is the SWE token. So he shared this earlier. He's probably in bed, probably, I don't know, having dreams of, no, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say dreams of, the M. I'm not going to say that. But look what's mentioned here. And SWE token and network launch, what you need to know. Well, what do you need to know? This is posted on May 2nd, 2023. You guys were talking about it at the beginning of the show. Well, Max, why do you wait to now to talk about? Well, it was a part of the lineup, my friend. If I would have got this in advance, maybe I would have covered it at the very beginning. I don't know. All right. So it says the highly touted SWE mainnet is set to officially launch on Wednesday, May 3rd at 8 a.m. Eastern. It already did that. So what the heck is this SWE thing? And, should we pay more attention to this? Or should we just go running around town like a chicken with their head cut off, Elon Muff 24/7 until, the chickens come home to roost, right? I don't know. I really don't know. But nonetheless, on the show, you got to say the word, the two words Elon Muff at least, 3 or 4 or 5 times, right? Because you just got to get out of your system, Elon Muff this, Elon Muff that, Elon Muff, baby burn, Mo, I burn, baby burn like Disco Inferno. I don't know. But here's the thing. It says a layer 1 design proof of stake. Did you know that it's a layer 1 design proof of stake? You probably didn't, right? So it goes on to mention that this particular, blockchain protocol uses a modified version of the Move programming language initially created at Meta, formerly Facebook, before it decided to wind down its DM project. Ooh. SWE is built by Mistin Labs, one of the 2 spinoffs that came from Meta's DM project, the second being none other than the so-called Solana killer, which is Aptos Labs. I knew eventually they're going to mention Aptos because, let's face it, Meta and Aptos, that connection, which launched its mainnet in October. Leading to its launch, SWE has raised enormous amounts of money. By September last year, Mistin Labs had closed a 300 million Series B round and reached a $2 billion valuation, according to Crunchbase. The team behind SWE said it wants the network to become the premier NFT and gaming platform for the cryptocurrency industry by virtue of its Move programming language, which developers have said is more intuitive way to write smart contracts. So it says, although the Move was not initially designed with NFTs in mind, SWE Move is looking to change that by implementing certain NFT-specific functions. Unlike another popular language like Rust, which is used by Solana and focuses on accounts, SWE is centered around objects. That has made it possible for objects on SWE to be owned by a single user or shared, which can then be modified by users as long as they follow certain smart contract functionalities. By doing so, the team behind SWE said the network is poised to become, listen to this, an innovative, decentralized layer 1 blockchain that redefines asset ownership. SWE Move has been highly touted for its speed and transaction throughput, with Solana's co-founder, which is Anatoly Yakovenko. Anatoly Yakovenko, right? One of its main competitors calling it awesome. Shout out to Wayne Side, if you see what here is, right? Awesome on Twitter. Here it is. So this was posted on April 21st, 2023. And it says, at Eamon Ibio is technically correct. 80% of Solana's transactions per per second, excuse me, is due to its consensus messages. An example, votes. So it's not fair to argue which chain is better and solely based, or excuse me, is better based solely on transactions per second. Look at decentralization, network usage, security, and then comment. And then this guy who is Toli, right? Technically, that would be Mr. Anatoly Yakovenko, says, quote, "This isn't an argument about what chain is better. SWI is awesome. You can't do 100 transactions with one cryptographic signature. You can do 100 transfers, but there is only one signature that authenticates a state transition. It's only one transaction, no matter what. What is he saying?" And he's going to say, no matter what the state transition does, if you batch and aggregate a bunch of signatures into one transaction, it is still one transaction. But that's at least a fair optimization that works in some real world situations. Then there's a back and forth. This other guy says, "Yeah, that's true, but let's wait for the benchmark report. I have that even doing one transfer per transaction signature, and it's going to be at tens of thousands. It's just a more efficient consensus algo. You can't engineer your way out of that." Then Tully responds back with, "It's only running 100 nodes, so it's not really demonstrating any consensus efficiency." If you're wondering about Tully on Twitter, like it says right here, he is wartime OSS maintainer, co-founder of Solana Labs, follows, retweets, likes are not endorsements, not financial advice, mostly technical gibberish, be kind. And he has, of course, 234,000 followers because he's a big wig in what? Solana. So there is that. And I wasn't sharing that particular tab, but that's okay. I'm going to jump back to what we have. And then I go further down here on this particular outline. It says the platform's native asset, the SWI token, has been in the midst of an initial coin offering or ICO. Says April 20th. It will end on May 3rd, which is today. Of course, it went live this morning. Investors have been purchasing IOU versions of the token, albeit from 4 smaller exchanges. Here are the ones: Bit4x, DigiFinex, Hotbit, and SuperX. As of Tuesday afternoon, the token IOUs were trading at $3.20 per token, according to CoinGecko, and has seen their price spike 14% the past day from excitement surrounding the mainnet launch. After the token launches, it will be listed on OKX, KuCoin, Bybit, and even Binance. So that's interesting. All right. So glad to share that. Shout out to the one and only Mr. Tim Shea. All right. Let's get out of that. Let's kick it back into the comments. And let's see what we got in regards to some of the things I just recently mentioned. All right. Elon Musk says Muff Inu coin. Wow. What a name. There's a guy who's following me on crypto Twitter. I kid you not. His name is Dick Inu. I'm not even playing. You guys were joking around. It's an actual thing. He actually has a coin. He follows me. And that's the name of it. I'm not even joking. I have to maybe pull it up. Maybe I can find it right now. I was shocked that there was such a thing. I was like, my goodness. We'll have to stop the presses. Let me see this. I can't pull it up at the moment. Dang it. It comes with a whole bunch of bad stuff, like really bad stuff. All right. So let's jump back into a little more. Salamander is actually here at this time. He says fluffy muff. A little bit more on muff. Coochie Boy says, Muff, did you grab the turbo token? Muff says no. Salamander says the muffler man. Elon Musk says that I got 30K in ish coins. I need to rest. Oh, God. Coochie Boy's giving him the law. Muff says he's bullish on elk. Yeah, I know. I need to get me some of that. Come on, elk. Maybe be my 5,000. Yeah, I mean, I gotta at least get some kind of a big on that. Coochie Boy says turbo at 45 million market cap in one day. Muff states I should have got in 80x ago. Not interested now. Okay. Craig Connor says Jerry Inu just hit 7.019 wallet addresses. Give the MUF token 10% buy and sell tax with 7% reflections to holders, 2% to liquidity, and 1% to marketing. Someone draw the token PNC file and I will mint it. My God, you're actually serious about that. An Elon MUF token would probably fly. You guys are actually being serious now. I mean, we're, it's a joke, but, think about how some meme tokens get created. I mean, hence, obviously, Dogecoin, right? Elon MUF presale. That would be quite something. How do you get this thing to trend? Just everybody just, every time you tweet Elon Musk, you put at Elon Musk. Maybe it tweets, wouldn't that be something if, that was like the whole blueprint? It's just that the rule of thumb is this, right? Every time you share about, the Elon Musk token, you have to tag Elon Musk. That way, at some point, he basically recognizes it and retweets it. All it takes is one retweet from Elon Musk about Elon Musk. That'd be crazy. That would be absolutely nuts. You want to talk about your DGen plan? I don't even know what to say about this. If I see on some like DGen, talk shows, like, for instance, can you imagine Rodney, my crypto journey? Like he has a thumbnail and he's just all like, bullish about Elon Musk. I mean, for real, Hey guys, let me tell you about something about, Mr. Elon Musk. Oh my gosh, this is like, we were talking about Pepe the last couple of weeks, like all these shows, right? Like, was it even Jake Gagan, some of these other guys? They start talking about Elon Musk. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That would be unbelievable. You got something to share right there? Is that what's going on? Hold on, let me see what's going on. No, you don't. Okay, that's all right. Oh man. Anyway, all right. Let me see what I got left for you guys. Let me get into a tad bit more. I think that might actually be close to it. Let's see what else we got to share. Let me see what else is going on in the world of crypto. All right, let's share some of this. This is from my watch list, and then we're going to wrap things up here in a bit. All right, so Bitcoin Pay is up 22.58%. So Ethereum did go below 2 cents, right? Like, was that like a penny and like penny? I don't know. 0.017 or something like that, right? So that one's up 21%. I still say if that thing crashed to a penny or below, I will like buy one more bag. I know it sounds nuts. I'm just looking at it from perspective, like, Fed now coming out. What if there really actually ends up being something, right? Like, a lot of us are going to be wrong, right? But I don't want to be one of those guys that's wrong. Rocket Exchange, this one is literally turning into a decent swing trade, just being honest, right? Like this one, it keeps popping up. Let's see here. ALI, it used to be a really good swing trade. Is it still? I don't know. Not as good as it used to be. So just point out some of those things. Jasmy, how about this, guys? Look at Jasmy, right? Up 7.64% on 24-hour, 7-day chart, up to 11%, and it's now into the sevens. Cool stuff. So, shout out to all you guys that are into that. I don't hold any Ryoshi's vision. I mean, I know I'm like big into Shiba Inu, but not on that one. Proof of liquidity. If this thing pulls back to a penny, I'm going to back the truck up on that one. You better believe at some point when it's full bull run season, people are going to want to stake again at some particular point. It always happens. I'm telling you flat out. It happened last time. So the way I look at it is like, I think before this used to be like 65 cents at one point or something like that. So it crashes to a penny. That's not too bad. Bone Shiba swap is under $1. LCX slightly up. Casper, we did reach the 6 cent mark on that. When those are pretty good numbers for Casper. Ranked 69th overall, right? The top 100. I need to get some DAG at some point. That's just me. I also wanted some Theta. I want Theta, Near, and what is the other one? Theta, Near, and I forgot what's the third one. I forgot what it is, but I do want theta and near. All right, I want some more Polygon Matic personally. All right, audio. I'm plenty happy with the bag I have. Relio, maybe I finally get some Relio. I don't know. At these particular prices, I've had a lot of expenses lately. And I'm also already well invested into crypto. I mean, it's like, I don't know, somebody said to me, like one of my friends, he's like, how rich are you looking to get? I'm like, well, you'll have to find out. It's like at the end of the day, it's just like this saying goes. I mean, there's always going to be something that's going to pop up that's like, man, I got to be in this. Like, how about this, guys? I mean, like, I recognize that, Monero is a good project, right? I wouldn't mind being into that. I already hold some sandbox. Even though Avalanche doesn't get a lot of traction, I wouldn't mind having something. I mean, there's a lot of things, right? Energy Web Token, I wouldn't mind having that. I did buy the bottom on graph. It came into that 6 cents. I'm so glad I got into the graph. I got a decent bag of that. Filecoin, I'm looking to reach some new goals with that. And I think we'll definitely get there. Chili's, I know that it gets a lot of FUD, but if it crashes below 10 cents, I might pick up a second bag. Ethereum Classics below $20. There's still opportunity there. I mean, I'm looking at it from the perspective of like, we're talking about preparing for like a real bull run, like where things are, really making momentum. Believe it or not, ATC at below $20. That's not too bad. Just looking at a couple more. I've been meaning to do the whole thing on Telcoin. It's just, like add it up, add to the list of all the other ones. Caspa, I think it's a solid project. When am I picking that up? Oh, that's the one I was talking about. Remember, I was talking about Near, Theta. This is the other one, XTZ, Tezos. I think that's a good project as well. Investor Place talks about all the time. Internet Computer. I mean, my thing is, there's something solid with that project as well. Algorand under 20 cents. I mean, that's a pretty good buy to a sense. I mean, some people I think got this maybe as low as 16, maybe 15. I can't remember. We covered Hello before. I think that's a good original solid project. A long time ago, I wanted to do a deep dive in reserve rights. I don't think I am. Maybe at some point. I still have my eye out on Stratos at 43 cents. I'm telling you flat out, if you have done your deep dive on Stratos, shout out to XSI Game. I doubt he's here tonight, but 43 cents for Stratos is a very, like, that's a great position. So I'm still monitoring that. It might not ever happen again. I don't know. Here's Elk Finance. Mike Cornwell was talking about that. In regards to that, right? Only has a circulating supply of like slightly under 12 million of these things. And the total max supply is not even that much, right? My Zilliqa, I don't know. I don't think I'll ever buy a second bag of that. I don't know. I'm not flooding it. I don't know. Do I really need to get a second bag of Zilliqa? Probably not. All right. This project right here, Hydra, right? So they have consistently the best staking rewards on KuCoin, right? So my thing is this. Keep in mind the whole thing with proof of liquidity. So when more and more people are staking Hydra or you name it on KuCoin, we get into like, towards real momentum of the bull run, you better believe that people are going to still look to KuCoin for staking. And, proof of liquidity, POL, should really take off. All right. I think that's just about it in regards to some of this stuff. And yeah, glad to be able to cover this. Come back into the frame. There we go. Let me read the last bit of comments, and we're going to wrap up the show here in a bit. Let's see here. All right. Elon Musk says, let's do this. I'll work diligently for this meme coin. Our community would blast it. I mean, do we always tag Elon Musk, the real Elon Musk, every single time there's Elon Musk? It'd be sad though if like he ended up banning all the accounts or something. I don't know. I'm just saying. Nelly there. I want to buy pre-sale Veracity. Veracity, good project, but we are going to wrap up the show. Thank you and welcome, Rolando. Rolando, just giving you a heads up. Welcome. Consider changing your avatar. Speak something more about who you are and what you're about. Ironically, about 2 miles away from where I live, one of the best taco shops on this side of, of Phoenix. They have the best breakfast burritos, and it's the name of the place is called Rolando's, and it's my friend Matt Coberly's favorite place to eat a carne asada burrito. I like it just for the breakfast burritos, but they're called Rolando's. Anyway, go figure. All right. Been a good show. I'm going to go ahead and pull off some of the banners and play the outro here in the bit. Again, thank you so much to everybody who joined us here tonight, and we'll catch you back here tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific for more Crypto Talk Now. If you want, Mr. Elon Musk can drop his Twitter handle, and you can follow Mr. Muff for all updates on everything, XRP, QNT, XLM, you name it. Things are going on in the real world. If he possibly does like a minting of his token, the Elon Musk token. We'll have to see what happens with that. But with that said, it's been great sharing some of the community news as well. Read this last one. Oh, you must visit. It's a must visit. Rolando's got some best breakfast burritos in town. In reality, one of the best. I should say probably second best. There's other places called Filiberto's, pretty good too. But Henry Brown says, Muff stuff, the real Elon mad then tough. Yeah, interesting, right? All right. Craig Connor says, someone do the artwork and I will mint it. I will have a web space for the web page. Good night, all. Craig Connor, get with Elon Muff, aka Michael Cornwell, on Twitter. I'll share his real quick. Because he is the one and only Elon Musk. Let me see if I can share his Twitter. All right, here it is. So you're gonna want to get with this guy. So here is Crypto Mike, aka Elon Musk. The hell? But those are real people. Oh, this will be the only they them pronouns I'll use for person. Oh, yeah, that's I've seen those people on the Learning Channel, TLC. All right, so anyway, here he is. You can follow him at Micheal Cornwell, as in Cornwell, and then you guys can like DM each other and stuff like that. Wow. Anyway, a lot of controversial. Whoa. I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna play this before we leave. That's kind of crazy. The FOMC meeting is currently in progress. Yeah, that was earlier today. We didn't talk much about that. We didn't talk about it all today, actually. Why didn't I talk about this earlier? Because I did a show before this. I've been on air since 4 o'clock, for crying out loud. So yeah, I do definitely need to get a break. I'm gonna go ahead and play this in closing. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, here we go.
Bailout. The most prudent move is a
That was crazy. Anyway, but that's about it. Yeah, there you go. So, been a great show. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific for Thursday's Crypto Talk Now. Have a great night, everyone. See you on the next one.